We open up with a scene of a girl sitting on top of our MC, as he starts to wake up and the girl notices. She gets very up close with him and says, "Seems like you are awake." As he gets shocked and wonders where is he and what is this situation, he quickly gets up and jumps away from the bed. As the girl wonders if the effect of drug wore off already and tells him that it seems awake people look more attractive. He gets confused hearing it and wonders in shock if he got reborn, as he remembers that he accidentally entered the fairy world at Qingcheng Mountain 300 years ago and began his cultivation journey. And in those years, he worked hard to become a swordsman cultivator. But it seems instead of reaching Realm of Eternity, he instead opened Hall of Time and Space and returned to Earth when he was 17. The sin of opposing God, that which is not permitted to humans, is as the girl calls him to bed again, telling him not to be shy. But he grabs his clothes and tries to leave quickly, seeing which she gets a bit angry, and says that there hasn't been a time when she has let go of someone she caught, and he should be glad that he even got to see her. Yet he tries to leave without saying anything, which pisses her off more. She quickly goes on and grabs her hand, to which our MC notes that she is quite strong, as he shouts that the Emperor commands to fight for the country. But she gets surprised when he is able to resist, and our MC notes that his body does not have much power. And then she uses her power to push him back. But he quickly grabs his uniform and makes a run for it. "You were paired with me for that, don't worry, I will be gentle with you, you know that, right?" While declaring that if he thinks he can escape her, and states that Chu Qing, "You will be my big white rabbit and I will never let you go," as he gets frustrated and writhles in pain while lying on the ground. Smiling, he thinks he finally returned to Earth, and that he can finally see his family again. Suddenly he overhears a convo, as a girl is being annoyed by a guy who is crying for not getting a bag, as she declares that she will buy it for him. And the guy starts to cling to her in happiness, which confuses Chu Qing. And suddenly someone pushes him aside, and it's a huge girl working in construction. As he oversees a construction site, and wonders what the heck happened, as everything is different from when he used to live here. Fast forward, we see him getting information from the library. In ancient times, between spring and autumn, a cataclysm occurred which changed the women's physiology, making them smarter and stronger. And later on, a woman named Kongmo was born who made her ideology that women are superior to men and hence changed the power from prince to princess. And now even in the 21st century with the growth of society, idea of female superiority and male inferiority began to change, but even then idea of valuing women over men still exist. In extra martial affair, the men is said to be the unfaithful one, and here it's normal for women to chase after men. He quickly closes the book in shock and thinks that it's crazy, and wonders if his family also changed like this as well. As he arrives at home and sees his dad working in an apron. But he gets excited upon seeing him and quickly hugs him. Now fast forward at Frey's house, as he is all depressed and thinks of suicide. He gets shocked upon smelling perfume on him, and asks if he was with a woman and tells him that he keeps saying to not do that, since women are dangerous for handsome guys like him. He shows him news on how a 15-year-old was assaulted by his classmate, which shocks Chu Qing, and keeps nagging on him, and says on how his sister just fools around all day at home, and couldn't get a job, and they don't expect anything from her, but at least he should go to a good university, since he is still young, and don't get fooled by bad girls, and he replies to not worry much and asks, "Where is mom?" He tells her that his mother is discussing business with people and it isn't going too well. Chu Qing replies that he will go call out his sister for dinner then. As he opens her door and sees her slightly blushing and grinning. We see her watching some naughty stuff as she tells the guy to quickly untie his pants while having tissues on her table. Seeing which Chu Qing gets absolutely shocked and screams, which also startles Chu Xiao. As she wonders what is that, she starts to step out of her room and we get a full look of her. Chu Qing asks her if she was watching those kind of stuff there. To which she replies that it's nothing good about that, it's the era of live broadcast, and she was watching a handsome little boy with a hot body, which is not for little boys like him. But suddenly he starts to vomit blood and along with that something else as well. Now it gets evening and her sister comes and asks her dad to give her 1,000 yuan since she is going out to eat with friends and will come back late. He asks her why, and she replies she has to talk with her friends and do business with them. He gives her the money while being pissed at her and tells her that she should learn something from her brother, and if she was only half as good as he is, they wouldn't need to worry, but she just smiles and says he can just marry some rich girl, but for her, she has to struggle and do something by herself and that both him and mom has to support her as well. As she gets going, her dad tells her to save some money as it is not easy to earn and Chu Qing asks if it's okay to let her go like this. He replies that he cannot do anything, since she is a girl, they cannot tie her down, they have to go out and earn money, and her sister should just stay out of trouble at least, as Chu Qing thinks, what a feminist world. As they are talking, his mom also comes back. He hugs her immediately as well, in full excitement. As she asks him why is he being like this so suddenly, is his allowance not enough, and hands him over more money. As he once again gets all surprised and thinks that she used to be so strict, she even used to decline just 10 yuan, but now she is giving it like nothing. But he gives her back that he doesn't need it, but she tells him to keep it, even if their house is going through difficult time. She would not let it affect his academic performance, since that is her greatest pride. She asks, where is Chu Xiao? And her husband angrily replies to not even talk about her. As she says, she is still fooling around, but eventually she will realize the importance of her future responsibilities. As both his parents starts to get lovey-dovey, and seeing them, he thinks, what is this? Even if it's a reverse world, I cannot see them like this. As his mom says, how easy it is for men, but much struggle for women, and that one day she will realize it herself since she is their daughter after all, about which the dad agrees, and says that he has prepared food for her, in a very feminine tone. Everyone starts to comment, why was he sent flying, and wonders what happened to him. He tells them that he will be going to his room. As he steps inside, he notices his room is completely shiny and clean. As he walks inside and looks in the mirror, and thinks, in this world women are more respected than men, every family also wants a daughter, and which has caused a huge difference between men and women population. And there are still millions of women still single in this country. If they want to marry a good man, they have to own a house and a car, but for man they simply need to be good looking, and with my good face I am a match for a lot of women's. As he sighs and opens his drawer, and a bunch of love letters come out, and he thinks that he didn't knew he was the school flower of Jinmen Secondary Middle School. He sits down on his bed and thinks to cultivate and quickly get out of this world. As he starts, he notices that the aura here is rich and pure. With this he can recover his training and abilities that he lost in the Hall of Time and Space, and then open it again to return to his original world, and that he has to get out of this world ASAP. Now it gets night, and he opens his eyes, and after practicing Golden Freedom, Ji Dao, his senses have become much more sharpened. He tests them out by sensing his home, and notices that her sister isn't back yet, but realizes that in this reverse world it is common for women to stay out until late. But suddenly his phone rings, and his sister is calling. As he asks her what's up, she shouts his name, and tells him that she is in big trouble right now. And we see she is being held down by some women thugs, and tells Chu Qing to not inform her parents or the police. Worried, Chu Qing asks her what happened, and she tells him to bring a black bag that is under her bed, on the Crescendo Bar at High Street. One of the blue-haired girl grabs her phone and tells Chu Qing to bring that bag to room 302. And he agrees to do so. He jumps out of the balcony with the bag on his back, while saying that he won't let anyone mess with his family. He takes to the skies and jumps from roof to roof and arrives at the location. But Knowles does tell him that he heard that they have been sighted in the lemon forest, and tells her to now let go of his sister. But the blue-haired girl stands up and tells Chu Qing that his face is way cuter than in photos. As she gets close and asks for his age, to which he replies, it does not matter, which pisses her off. Anyways, she goes on to open the bag and we see it's full of money. Even Chu Xiao is surprised upon seeing it, which prompts a disappointing look from Chu Qing as he thinks, you didn't even knew yourself that there was a money in that bag, are you serious? Chu Xiao replies, she didn't knew, as Xiao Lin just told her to keep the bag for a while, and Xiao Lin tells her that she did not expect her to steal from her. Lin Xiaoan dared to do stuff in her place and even steal her money. And such she tells Chu Xiao to go away before she changes her mind, and as such she begins to leave with her brother. But she stops her, telling her to leave her brother, to which Chu Xiao thinks, I knew it wouldn't be easy. As Xiao Lin laughs and says that her brother is quite cute and she likes him, so he is gonna be staying here. But Chu Xiao stands in front, declaring she won't let her touch him, telling her to not bring him in this mess. But Ju laughs and says, then you need to stay, but if you stay, you will need to work hard for us, don't blame me afterwards then. Chu Xiao replies, she will stay, and tells Chu Qing to go home, and trust her, as it's not safe for him here, and she will be solving this. But Chu Qing tells him that he have moral as well. He announces the class has ended and Lucas leaves immediately for food. She gets pissed and tells him, asking him if he wanna die, as she will take him to her bed and torture him in every way possible. But he just straight up slaps her, which shocks Chu Xiao. In anger, she tries to punch back, but Chu Qing counters with a punch as well, and both their fist collide. As they both gets pushed back, and Chu Qing says, interesting, women here have such strength. She orders her lackeys to get him, but he dodges easily by jumping up. He spins around at high speeds and defeats all of them quite easily. As both of them are leaving, Ju pulls out a gun on them, warning them that she will shoot if they don't stop. As Chu Xiao asks for her forgiveness, but in anger, Ju tells them that she will kill them both here. And Chu Qing tells her, if that is what you want to do. And we cut to the scene, as a door opens and a girl comes, wearing a red dress and saying, "What an interesting view, how wasn't I invited to this?" We see it's the girl from before, whose name is Isekai'd, as she recognizes Chu Qing as well. He asks her what is she doing here and she replies that it's her place and she ends Ju Yun away, and that she will take care of him. But she shouts at her and asks her if she wanna break the rules. Isekai'd gets pissed about it and orders her men to take her away and cut off her feet and hands and then throw her on the street. As she gets scared and tries to apologize to Isekai'd, she then instead orders her men to cut off only one of each and tells Chu Qing that this is a present for him. As Chu Qing asks her if she is being kind to him and she replies, she is, since he is the man who dares to talk to her in such way. And she decides that he is going to be her boyfriend number 36. All the students get shocked and starts to blush, and we see Lucas flirting with Professor Jane, saying, "I now realize why I opened my eyes after my eternal slumber, it was all to meet you," as Professor Jane gets confused by his actions. As Chu Qing replies, is she seriously comparing her strength to his in a sarcastic way, which pisses her off, as Chu Xiao tells Chu Qing, how can he compare with her power since she is a woman? Isekai'd tells him that he is being cocky, and Chu Qing tells him to play a game and if he wins, she would not bother him again. She asks if he really want to challenge her despite knowing that he is a man, and he asks her if she is afraid. She laughs, stating that there is nothing she cannot do, and that if she win, then he has to be her boyfriend, and Chu Qing agrees. As they both get ready, we see people commenting that does that brat seriously think he can win against her, and someone else replies that if it was her, she would play with such guy until the end. As Chu Qing thinks, in this world, women are really strong and they see men as something insignificant, and Isekai'd tells him that she will make him understand the difference between man and woman are like ground and sky. They both start, and we see Chu Qing struggles a bit, noting that women in this world are extraordinary, and tells Isekai'd that it's surprising. But he gets a bit serious, thinking that he isn't ordinary either, which surprises Isekai'd as well, as he is able to slam her hand on the table and wins, which surprises Isekai'd. Chu Qing stands up and tells her to honor her bet now and starts to leave while everyone is in shock on how can a man defeat her, it's such unbelievable that he is so strong, and it's impossible that she lost to a man. She gets pissed hearing all that and everyone gets scared, as one of her guards tells her that he will chase them. But she slaps her away and tells her to shut up since she haven't lost to him yet. She tells Chu Qing that she is really surprised a man like him exists, but someone like him is destined to be under a woman's wings, and her offer still stands. If he does say yes, she will make him her husband, and no other woman in Jinmen will be able to lay her hand on him then. As he looks back at her and replies, who said that a man needs to be glued to woman, we have our own hands and feet, as people around get shocked and wonders if he is in right mind. Isekai'd replies, since ancient times, men have been pursued by womans, they are the pillar of this world, they decide the changes, as well as the social subjects, all the world's virtues and masterpieces were made by womans as well. Even a child knows that. As a man, do you think yourself as special? How many heroes are man in the literature? There isn't one or two, but women are those who matters the most in society. Chu Qing walks up to her and asks her what is her point, and says that men are striving and fighting to get better always. Resting on some cute lady's legs, work and be rewarded, that is what men do, as he leaves saying that. As Isekai'd starts to smile and tells her guard, that isn't he amazing, he is totally my type, I won't let him go. One of her guard tells her that they need to go immediately, as she probably knows that, but she replies, but I only came out for 2 days, why would I go back now, besides stop calling me Miss Yi, since my sister is still alive. Now as Chu Qing and Xiao are walking home, she tells him, he isn't gonna tell their parents about this, right? And he replies, of course he will, what would have happened if he wasn't there to help her? She gets angry and asks if he is trying to threaten her, and asks him, when did he get so strong, and why isn't he marrying Isekai'd, as she is heiress of a very important family in Jinmen, and if he marries her, she would also benefit from that. But hearing that, he gets pissed and warns her that he will send her back to that place, if she says anything again. Reaching home, he once again starts to train, thinking that he wants to reach his true strength quickly, as this isn't enough, he have only improved his eyesight so far. He senses his sister is again on the live broadcast, watching a guy stripping, and commenting on his huge thing, while Chu Qing says, what a perverted girl, she is way worse than my sister from the original world. Next day, we see him arriving at school. and some fat guy comes running to him, calling his name, seeing which, he is filled with confusion and disgust, wondering if he is really his best friend, Lin Dong. As he holds Chu Qing's hand, and asks what was he doing and why wasn't he answering his calls, but Chu Qing quickly pulls his hands in disgust. As he asks, that he heard he was in trouble yesterday, but Chu Qing runs away, saying, that it's nothing, while thinking that this guy isn't his friend at all. In the classroom, upon seeing its state, Chu Qing says, that he cannot stay in this world any longer. But suddenly someone pokes on his shoulder, and he lifts his head to see who it is. It's the class president, Songchara-ran, who asks Chu Qing if he is okay. He replies, that he is, it's just he didn't eat anything during breakfast, so he is hungry, and she tells him, that she got food and they can eat together if he wants to. Suddenly someone shouts from behind her, that how dare she talk to him, and it's some ugly-ass girl with a gorilla face. She immediately hugs Chu Qing, asking if he read her love letter. But Chu Qing gets pissed and sends her flying. She tries to jump him, saying how dare he, and is about to punch him. But she suddenly gets stopped by another guy who shouts at her to stop. We learn he is Yi Mao, and she asks him what is he doing here, as he tells her to flip off and scares her away. She runs away shouting that she is leaving just because her sister, Yi Chenki, as Mao tells Chu Qing that he needs to talk to him about something. Out of the classroom, he apologizes to Chu Qing for what happened with her sister and him. He did ask someone to help him, but he lost his location. As we get a flashback on what happened in Chapter 1, as we see, Yi Mao tells Chu Qing that his sister will give him a ride home. In the car, Yi Chenki gives him something to drink which probably contained the drug. Back to the present, he again apologizes, saying that if he knew what his sister is planning, he wouldn't have told her to give him a ride, but Chu Qing tells him it's okay and no need to blame yourself for this. Fast forward as he is leaving school and we see a car stops for him. And it's Yi Chenki who tells him to get in the car, and he asks why would he do that while thinking that she is stalking him. She threatens him, just think about the sake of your family, you know what I am talking about. And we see Chu Qing ends up sitting in the car with her, and tells her that she committed a huge mistake by messing with his family. But she asks, what if I wasn't really threatening you? And he replies, threat or not, you would eventually mention it. He suddenly breaks the artifact type of thing that was hanging in the car, which surprises her. He gets on top of her and tells her that she must know the consequences of threatening him. She replies that it isn't a threat, she can help his family, and she knows that his company is going through some tough times, and Chu Qing replies, so you were just being sympathetic, huh? She replies, it might be like that or not, but I am telling you that I will pursue you openly, we can start as friends and I can take care of your family's business. He taps her chin, and gets back to his seat, telling her that they can start as friends. And tells her that he knows you came with that intention, but don't annoy him again, and tells her to drive fast. She tells him that she wanted to ask him if he practiced some old martial arts. He replies, of course not, aren't men unable to cultivate in this world? And she replies, I know you lied about your strength, I investigated you and your family but found nothing, and with that reaction of yours just now, it seems to be a secret of yours. Hearing that he goes all silent. But suddenly he notices a truck coming right at them and he shouts at her to look out, but they collide. We see their car get sent flying away and crashes. And Yi Chenki is quite injured and asks Chu Qing if he is okay. But we see Chu Qing has protected her with her body as a shield. He throws Rurin in the hot spring, as she screams that it's hot. As he gets out of the car and Yi Chenki tells him that he is seriously hurt and they need to go to a hospital immediately. He replies, what are you on about? I don't think it's over yet. And we see a bunch of thugs coming out of the smoke for them. Yi Chenki tells them, how dare they hurt her man, as they all start to rush towards her. She jumps towards them and sends one of them flying. One of them also tries to attack Chu Qing, as he thinks that he is being underestimated. He punches her right in the gut and knocks her out in a single blow. And we see Chenki fighting all those thugs and Chu Qing picks up a weapon. He charges into all of them and sends them all flying with a slash. And Yi Chenki uses her palm and strikes the remaining two on their stomach and knocks them out. She praises Chu Qing for great job, and he replies, it wasn't much as her. But she replies, it's nothing, if it wasn't for him, she would be in a difficult situation, and that she will ask someone to investigate this, and asks him if he is hungry and to go find some place to eat. He replies, they can't, maybe some another time, as it's already late and his parents will be worried. Suddenly her phone starts to ring, as she picks up and asks what happened? She gets shocked upon hearing something and Chu Qing asks her what happened, but thinks that it doesn't have anything to do with him and family business of others isn't something that a student like him can handle. But suddenly she grabs his hand and asks him to not go, and explains that her mom got hurt, she was also assaulted just like this, and she is at her home right now. And Alyson notes now they just have to build a place for them to sleep, as he goes on to open the restaurant again. As she starts to get teary while saying, if her mom dies, her aunt will take over the business, and then she will be kicked out of the family, Chu Qing comforts her, telling her to not cry since he will go with her, and that she must remain strong and firm, since her family depends on her now. Even if he is not the position to help her, all he can do is encourage her right now. As she starts to think that she feels that she can trust his word. And suddenly she hugs him tightly. Now fast forward and they both arrive at the Yi family's mansion. As one of the guard comes running towards her, and she asks how are things here. The guard replies, it's hard, she cannot get it, but Lady Yi Mei said no one would be allowed inside besides you, as Yi Chenqi gets pissed, saying, how dare she, and Chu Qing asks, who is she? Yi Chenqi replies, that it's her aunt. Her mom said that she was in the family for years, and was conspiring with other families, but since there isn't any solid proof, I cannot do anything, and she didn't expected her to make her move first. We see the leech preparing to attack and he uses the spell, Ice Spear. Yi Chenqi tells them, how dare you mistreat her guest, but Chu Qing tells them that he is a doctor, here for Miss Yi, and thinks that he did study medicine in the fairy world, which is going to help him now. They start to mock him, asking how can a man be a doctor, but he surprises them by telling their medical problems with a single glance, on how one of them is suffering with reproductive system for years, and the other one is having problems with kidney, because she practiced martial arts for too many years and stuck to Chinese medicines. Hearing that they allow him in, but someone else comes. We see it's her aunt, Yi Mei, and her daughter, Yi Maya, as her aunt tells her that luckily she came to her mother on time, otherwise who know what would have happened. But Yi Chenqi gets pissed and asks, where is her mom, to which she replies, she is being rude, and that she should respect the hierarchy of the family and call her aunt properly. And besides that, how can she bring a stranger home and any man is forbidden from joining the Yi family? But Yi Chenqi tells her that he is a doctor and she is the one who called him. But her aunt tells her, I thought he was someone you brought home a few days ago, but if he wants to join the Yi family, he needs to have a certain ability, and if he doesn't have that, he cannot enter. As she calls her daughter out to check if Chu Qing is skilled or not. Captain Mac asks, do you even know what ship this is? And he replies, of course I do, it's a treasure chest filled with the relatives of rich families. Maya tries to flirt with him and asks him to promise something if she won, and he asks, what? She replies that he will have to sleep with her and make love with her for a night, which pisses Yi Chenqi off. But Chu Qing holds her off, and agrees with her promise. But as he is not looking, Maya suddenly attacks him, as Chu Qing thinks she said those things to distract him. But he easily counters, by punching her in the gut and sending her flying away. He sarcastically asks her if she still wants to make love with him, and her aunt shouts, disgusting, look at what that man did, I cannot believe your type of men is such an animal. But Yi Chenqi defends him by saying she was the one who provoked him. Was it him, the one who blocked the attack aimed at this ship? The hooded guy tells the student, he is not an opponent you can face, do not get yourself in trouble and stay down obediently. Inside the house, we see a blonde lady standing who is also an aunt of Yi Chenqi. As Chenqi arrives she hugs her, and Chenqi asks, where is her mom? To which she replies, that she is alright, but the wound is severe, and they cannot do anything about it, hence she is in observation. The captain says, geez, did our baby pee his pants, and orders his henchman to get him washed, and he picks that student up. Chu Qing tells her to trust him, and Chenqi tells her aunt that he is a friend of hers, and he saved her when she was ambushed as well. Without him, it would have been rough, and something even greater is that he is a doctor. As he drowns in the sea, and students comments that the 2-star orca was so cruelly killed, she replies, I see you're here, but who is that guy? And Chu Qing replies, that he is a doctor and Chenqi entrusted you to me, so please show me your wounds, as he thinks that looking at her family reminds him of his, and it's already late. I wonder how will I deal with them when I get home, since this is a reverse world, I shouldn't be out too late here. Her mom replies, that's okay, but he won't be able to help her, and tells him to spare a minute since she needs to talk to her daughter, as her aunt tries to escort him out. But Chenqi tells her mom to let him check her once, as he is an amazing person, and if it wasn't for him, she would have been in danger as well, and her mom is surprised since it's the first time Chenqi has praised a man, and asks if he is that different from others. And Chu Qing tells her mom, that if I guess correctly, you have been hit by energy in your left side of your back, and you've been using a large amount of energy to keep it from spreading through your body, because of that you are weakened since you used a lot of power, right? She gets surprised hearing that and tells everyone to go outside since she wants to talk to him alone. As Chenqi is hesitant, but her aunt pulls her anyways. Her mom asks him if the Lee family has sent him, and what intention does he have with Chensi. He replies, he is not from the Lee family, and about his intentions, she should ask her daughter instead about her keen interest in him. Besides, if he didn't saved her, she would have been meet up with a corpse instead right now. She replies, fine, she will believe in him, and proceeds to show him her wound. We see her getting stripped and Chu Qing gets a nosebleed from seeing it, as she tells him that if he is planning to do anything bad to her daughter then it's his family that is gonna receive a corpse. Isabel asks him, are you higher stage than that lich over there? And Lucas replies, nope, as she stares at him and he tells her to move away a bit, but he notices her wound and gets shocked upon seeing it. He tells her that whoever hit her caused a lot more damage than he expected, and in her current condition, she can resist it for up to 5 days, but after that her internal organs will be destroyed, and she asks if he can do anything about it. He replies he will try, as he touches her back and uses his energy. Seeing the lich he gets nervous and asks their captain, what is your goal? He concentrates to remove the bad energy from his body and says that with his current level he cannot take all of it in one go. Her mom gets clothed again and asks him, how did he do that? And she feels much better now. She asks how can she thank him and if he wants anything, but he replies that Chensi is his good friend, so it's normal for him to help her. She smiles and teases him about the friend part, to which he thinks, why does she sound so odd? Now as he is leaving, Chensi tells him that he is amazing and that she didn't thought he could heal her mom. Peruan replies, you are right, I am not strong enough to face the lich you employ, however. But he pushes her away, telling her that if his parents finds out about this, they will freak out. And he just leaves as Chensi tells him, I guess so, they got a good son after all, and he's so cute as well, he should be wary and avoid temptations. And while going home he checks his hand and we see the bad energy there. He tells her, don't flinch, watch carefully, none of them are stronger than you other than the lich, you should be able to defend your own body yourself, aren't I right, Miss Mage? Now next day, as he is at school, he notices some student is in awe from looking at Tang Ziyan. We see she is a beautiful girl and playing basketball and dominating others. Even the lich is surprised as he thinks he is so fast. As other boys are incomplete or of her saying how cool she is, and Chu Qing thinks that he almost forgot this world is different, we don't know each other, I shouldn't bother her. But just then she calls him out, asking if they have met before. He replies, they go to the same school, so probably, and she replies that she does not mean that, and Chu Qing thinks, just like in previous world, she is always curious about me. But she says, never mind, and asks him to play basketball with her, she can teach if he wants to. He smiles and snatches the ball, telling her to let's play. She tells him to make it a competition, and if she wins, he will become her boyfriend, and Chu Qing asks, what if he wins, and she replies that she will do whatever he wants. As everyone gather to watch, commenting that the school genius and Tang Ziyan will play against each other, and other says if they got to have a match with her, then they will be the luckiest person in school. As the match starts, we see Ziyan crosses over against Chu Qing, and immediately throws the ball and gets a basket against him. As he gets quite surprised, and everyone comments that she is the best, and she will definitely make him her boyfriend. And she declares that she won't hold back because she wants to win him over. He tells her to try again, as she once again does so and tries to cross over him. As she once again passes him and tries to basket by dunking. But this time, Chu Qing is able to block it. Everyone is surprised to see that he can jump so high, while the girls are in love with his jumps. As he takes over the ball and tells her that it's his turn now. As he drives over to her and jumps over her right towards the basket and dunks, while Tian accepts her loss. And she asks him, what can she do for him? And he pinches her cheeks and asks her to go on a date with him. We see the boys, all blushing and shit, saying how cute they are. Ziyan starts to chuckle and tells him that he needs to get stronger if he wants to date her. Which surprises him, as he thinks, when did she got so proud of herself? Now back at Chensi's house, we see him again healing her mom. As he thinks, when he helps her, he also made progress in his aura and spiritual body. Once again it gets night, and as he is leaving, Chensi asks him, what kind of reward does he want for saving her mom? As he starts to have some lewd thoughts about her. He just blushes and leaves while she asks, what is he smiling about? And he replies, it's nothing, and he will think of something and tell her. While on his way home, he thinks, next time he will heal her completely, and after that he can fully awaken his spiritual body, and he is making fast progress in this world. As we see the car that was going by stops for him, and some chicken-looking dude with bathrobe comes out of the car. He asks him if he is Chu Qing, and is he going after Tang Ziyan, as he tries to act big, but being the douchebag he is, fails to do so, and states his name as Liu Wei. As Chu Qing thinks, is he dumb or something, and Liu Wei jumps on him to attack. But Chu Qing just grabs his hand and folds it behind his back. He orders his guards to help him, but Chu Qing plants his face on the ground and kicks the two guards away while doing so. He slams his face and tells him that if he want to deal with him, bring more people. Liu Wei warns him that his Li family won't let him go unharmed for this, and to not think Xian will be his, since their families have already agreed for a marriage between them. But Chu Qing punches him, telling him he squeals a lot. After knocking them out, he leaves thinking if it was Xian's sole decision, or does the Tang family have some problems? How could they accept arranged marriage with Li family, and is he the stupid Liu Wei that Aunt Yi mentioned, and wonders how can he investigate. He thinks that he can just ask her that, and texts her, while she replies, with money and a contact of someone, telling him to keep it, as he wonders why would she send him money. He realizes that she thought he doesn't have any money, and since he will be needing money to buy that information. He dials on the number and asks if he is talking with Hua Hua, but before he can complete, the girl replies, have a date, to get laid, I am gonna tell you I am not cheap. Fast forward, we see him sitting in a bar, as he thinks, when I called her, the person who sells the information didn't ask for anything, it seemed to be a woman, but I don't know if she is credible or not. Suddenly someone taps on his shoulder, and it's the informant, who is apparently a lowly named Chen Hua Hua. She asks him what information does he want, and he is surprised to see her and thinks she looks underage. She tells him that he can call her Hura, and asks for what is his relationship with Chensi, and if she is not his girlfriend, then he can become his boyfriend, which makes him spew his drink. He tells her that he wants to buy information, and asks her what does she know about the Tang Xian's family. She excitedly asks him, she is the one you faced in basketball match, is she your girlfriend, which he denies. As Chu Qing thinks, who is she, how does she know that? Did she investigate me before? She pinches his cheek and asks if she can go after him then. But he tells her to take it seriously or he will find someone else, to which she replies that he is too serious, as she sulks and says that she cannot even play around with him. She tells him that Tang's family is one of the huge family here, and one of their company serves as their principal headquarters. Furthermore, most of the city's largest business corporation are owned by them. Recently I heard that there were problems on their family business, so their financial status wasn't stable. Knowing this, the Li family was the one who proposed the matrimony. Marrying Liu Wei with Tang Xian, who is the heiress of the company, would make the Li family assist Tang family, solving the problem of the latter. Chu Qing thinks, I didn't expect that Tang Xian had so many secrets. In my past life she didn't mention this. Does that mean she doesn't want me to find out? She asks if that is everything he wants to know, and he replies that he also wants to know about alchemy. Does any alchemic family exist? She replies, the Tang family, who you asked about, is one of those. They're specialized on elixirs and medicines, as Chu Qing gets surprised hearing that they exist in this world as well. He asks her that he wants to know more and can she tell him all the information she have. She tells him it depends on the conditions that he propose, and starts to flirt and tease him. As he gets embarrassed and starts to blush hard and tells her to stop being so perverted, which she laughs about. She starts to explain that there are two no alchemy types. The first one, common alchemy, works by using internal power to prepare elixir, which is the Tang family's specialty, and the second one, which uses mysterious spiritual power. This type is completely out of my scope. He gets surprised to hear about the spiritual one and wonders if there are other people like him in this world. She gets up and tells him that these two pieces of information has been sold for 100,000 yuan, but she will give him a discount for being handsome. He asks her if she has any information about confidential transactions, like medicinal ingredients and related to it. She tells him that she will tell him if he goes to dinner with her. My man is rizzing her up without doing anything. As they arrive at a food stall, and the server asks Hua Hua what would she like to eat today. She replies with 20 pork and 4 cold beers, which surprises Chu Qing, thinking in this world women likes to eat pork skewers. While we see a bunch of girls partying like middle-aged men, which again makes him realize that this is a reverse world. Luckily, having no FBI nearby, we see Hua Hua is drunk and completely clinging to Chu Qing. She cries out and complains about how she got rejected for being poor, even though she liked the guy for years, and she knows that she has flat mountains and small house, and she buys video games often, but would that all mean that she won't be able to get married? To which he replies, it's not. She acts all cute and asks him, does he like her then? Fast forward, we see him holding her and carrying her to her apartment. Seeing her apartment, he thinks this lowly cannot even take care of herself. No wonder she needs to get a husband, as he lays her down on her bed. But she suddenly grabs him and takes him to the bed. She asks him to stay with her, and he replies, all right, he will. She gets exhausted and falls asleep on him, and luckily he avoids the FBI as well. As she is sleeping, he checks his phone and checks the info that Tang family is in danger due to recent infiltrations. He opens the confidential transaction document and sees Shenzhen Auction House, the most important auction house in Jinmen. It is administered by an old martial art family who possess an incredible amount of elixirs, as Chu Qing thinks that is impossible to survive in this world without money, but luckily he knows something that can be worth a lot in this world. Now some days later we see him practicing on top of a building. As he thinks, in the immortal world there is something known as spiritual rock, which makes cultivation faster, and it helps in practicing old martial arts as well. They can also be obtained through veins, or cultivating so-called eternity, which absorbs aura from earth and sky. In this world, they don't exist, so I will auction this one. While I am making them, money won't be a problem. Now it gets evening and he is again at Chen's house. Her mom says finally her strength is back, just wait and see Harpier, I will return the favor. She thanks Chu Qing, and tells him that if he has any problem in future, just tell her and she will help him. He leaves thinking that he finished the detoxification process on her, and his spiritual body has been released to a certain extent. Now he should focus on cultivating as much as he can. Suddenly he gets called out by Chenzi as she tells him to wait. She leaps onto him and gives him a kiss right on his lips, thanking him for healing her mother and saying that this was a little reward for him. As her guard calls her for an urgent meeting and she leaves saying that she needs to go back inside, but someday she will give him a complete present. He starts to blush a bit and thinks being kissed by a girl isn't bad at all. Now back at his home, we see him again concentrating and practicing. As he is able to summon his sword, which was the only thing he got after he entered the space hall, which has been with him for 100 years, and that it doesn't have any limit, he also have a hunch that this sword and this world are related. As his clothes gets destroyed, and his body gets enveloped into flaming aura, while he says farewell to his weak body, and with it finally, his spiritual body gets revived. Suddenly his sister enters his room, hearing the noises, and he quickly hides the sword behind his back. Seeing him naked, nervous, and hiding something, she quickly closes the door and heads back, while telling him to take his time, and apologizes for interrupting his session, and she won't get in like that anymore. Which causes another misunderstanding, as he again gets clothed and wears his sword as necklace. He readies to go to the auction house to sell his spiritual stone. As he arrives at the Shenzhen auction house, and someone says, someone really came at this hour, doesn't he know it's late? Chu Qing shows him the spiritual stone and he says it's just a yellow glowing stone. But after noticing it properly he suddenly gets up in shock. He asks Chu Qing to let him see it once. As he inspects it, he notices that it emanates so much aura, and what's amazing is that it can help greatly with cultivation. It's such a rare find. He introduces himself as Jai Yu, the successor of Shenzhen auction house, and Chu Qing shakes his hand and introduces himself as well. Yu asks him how many of this stone does he have and what is it called, to which he replies that it's a spiritual rock and he has 5 of them, and Jai Yu offers him 200,000 for each, and 1 million yuan in total. We see he has accepted the offer and is on his way home, thinking that it was higher priced than he thought. If his plan works, he can have a monopoly on this and reign the auction and the martial arts world. And suddenly he gets a text from Hua to have a drink with her. But he notices someone suddenly appearing. The person tries to stab him, but Chu Qing uses sword formation. Suddenly a bunch of golden swords appear in front of him and blocks his attack. The assassin gets pushed back as he wonders what is this, and Chu Qing immediately charges at him. And before he reacts, Chu Qing slashes him multiple times. He moves towards the assassin and points his sword at his neck asking who sent him. He replies, it's Li Yue. He hired him to take care of him and said that Chu Qing was just a weak student, but Chu Qing grins and cuts the guy off. As he walks away, telling him that his boss will come to retrieve his body, declaring that he will personally serve them demise, just wait for him. But he suddenly feels a pain in his body as he grabs his chest and wonders what is happening. Chu Qing wonders what happened to his body as his vision starts to get blurred out. We see him start to blush and gets aroused. As just then Hua opens the gate, while Chu Qing is standing right in front of her, panting. He immediately hugs her tightly and she asks, what happened to him? But just then Chu Qing kisses Hua. He apologizes right away, wondering why is he so impulsive today. But we see she is really happy and excited and tells him to continue. And Chu Qing pushes her down to bed. Fast forward and we see they have done the deed and are currently snuggling. As he thinks, he didn't want to have any attachment in this world, but he cannot be alone, so the only best thing to do is to conquer this world. Next day at school, we see him lying on the bench, as Tang Zihon comes around and asks if he is here to his classmates. He gets up as Tang Ji and gets all close up with him, asking him to have lunch with her. As he starts to wonder are women in this world really this straightforward? Suddenly she gets close to him, saying that she smells a scent of another woman on him. She keeps on staring at him, but moves on, and asks him out on lunch. He agrees, while noting it's a good thing she didn't find out that he was at another girl's place. As they are walking together, students comments on it's surprising that she asked him out on lunch, as someone else replies that it's quite trending on how they met. Chu Qing asks her on why did she ask him out on lunch. She replies she just wanted to have lunch with him, for no reason, and asks to hold his hand while walking. Though he catches up with her lie, thinking she isn't even embarrassed about it as he grabs her hand. She starts to blush heavily from it. Chu Qing is also surprised by her reaction and chuckles. He pinches her cheek, and she immediately steps back in embarrassment, asking him in anger why did he do that, while he laughs it out. As she is walking behind him, she thinks that she was raised as an heiress, everyone whom she met was planned and never have she met someone like him. And ever since she met him in court, she could feel he is someone important to her, as she feels safe and comfy with him, wondering why is this. Embarrassed with herself, she starts to think, when did she become a girl like this? They both arrive at a restaurant, as Chu Qing orders 2 sets of spicy rice noodles, one without cilantro, but with more spice and vinegar, as she wonders how did he knew her taste. He notices her blushing, and asks about it. She replies, it's nothing. As 2 suspicious-looking people arrive, Chu Qing notices them. As Chu Qing gets called out to pick up his order and he starts to move away from the table, and one of the 2 girls stares at him, signaling the other one, as they start to make their move. They try to sneak behind Tang Jian and attack her. But suddenly a bowl of rice noodles comes flying and hits her right on the head, interrupting the attack. She gets burned and the purple girl tries to attack Jian instead. But Chu Qing intercepts her as well, taking the attack in Jian's place. Jian calls him out in worry. Chu Qing charges up and sends the girl flying back with 1 attack. She gets smashed right at the wall, and Jian tells Chu Qing to run away, as she is their target. But Chu Qing states that he can never abandon a woman, not in this lifetime, as he charges forward. She tries to kick him, but he ducks and dodges, while countering with his own punch and sending her flying. But the other girl has gotten up and tries to attack him from behind and is able to land a palm strike right on his back. But Chu Qing grins as he looks back at her, sending her slamming into the counter as well. As they both lies down on the ground, defeated, Jian asks Chu Qing if he is a part of some ancient martial arts family, though he replies, it's complicated, just think of him as a freelance warrior. As he tells her to move away from this place since it's not safe and to call her family to clean up these 2. Outside, as Chu Qing is injured we see Jian is helping him walk. She asks if he is really okay as he says she can send him to the hospital if he wants to, but he replies, it's nothing much, it will heal itself. As he starts to think even though those assassins were mediocre they could still hurt him, he needs to start making defensive artifacts soon, as Jian tells him that it seems he knows quite a bit about her family. Asking if Li Yuwei bothered him, while he replies that there is no way a young master like him could have trouble with few underlings. Hearing which reassures her to some degree, and she starts to blush. While walking, she asks him, why did he save her? As he replies that he doesn't know, while thinking he cannot reveal that she was his wife in previous life. Though telling her that he had a feeling that he known her for quite long, to the point that he can die for her, which again makes her blush. Also reassuring her that it's not strange to think that he has some ulterior motive, but she can trust him, as he will help her because he knows her family is having some trouble recently, and she replies that her family is known for producing medicines, and have tons of factories, but recently their receipts got stolen and since then few medicinal families have started to pressure them. And she assumes that his incident is due to the Li family, since they want her to marry into their family so they can swallow them whole. As Chu Qing thinks, it's them again, not only do they want to destroy my family but Tang family as well, they are playing with fire. He grabs Jian and reassures her that he will fix it all, and to trust him. As she asks in surprise, can he really? He tells her that it's easy, her family just needs to make another formula for medicines. She replies, it's not easy, as there are 10 research centers that her family owns, and they have spent over 20 years just to develop 10 formulas. He replies, to let this matter be for later, informing her that in 2 days there will be an auction, by the time it ends, your family would have noticed me, we can go into the details then. Suddenly his heart starts to thump heavily again, and she asks in worry, on what happened. As he notes that he marked Yi Chenxi with spirit energy because he was worried about her, but suddenly it was removed. He immediately runs away, telling Jian to place an absenting class for him. He quickly contacts Hua as well, informing that something had happened to Yi Chenxi and to track her location. And she immediately gets to it as well. He then calls Zhai Yu, as Zhai Yu asks him if he got another treasure for him. But Chu Qing asks him to get a ride for him, and Zhai Yu agrees, and asks for location. Jiayu sends his customer away telling him that he has gotten something urgent to do and immediately leaves for Chu Qing. He picks him up as Chu Qing is following the location that Hua has sent him, asking Jiayu to follow this location, as he slams the gas pedal and zooms in traffic. Noticing a van, Chu Qing uses his ability to see through what is inside. And we see Yi Chenxi is lying there unconscious, and he asks Jiayu to stop the van by force. Jiayu speeds up and overtakes the van and brakes right in front of it, causing it to swerve and crash. Some guys come out of the smoke and we see Chu Qing is angry and walking towards them with his sword drawn. They ready their guns and shoot at him, but Chu Qing is able to blitz them before they can even react. As they fall down, Chu Qing heads towards the van to open it. But he suddenly notices an attack coming right towards him. But Chu Qing is able to dodge and get away from it, as two guys come out wearing tradition robes. Noticing their power, Chu Qing wonders if they are also spirit cultivators just like him. Those two guys ask him to join their Quanjin sect, which he replies that he has heard of them, but to think they would produce failures like them. His junior gets angry at him and suggests to kill him immediately as Chu Qing continues to mock them, saying with their level of skill, they dare to leave the training ground, they should go back and train for few more years. This time pissing them both off. His junior starts to gather energy and summons a staff, saying he is going to defeat him by himself. Chu Qing also draws his sword and they both clash. The junior gets pushed back and gets a crack on his staff, getting angry at him for destroying it. But Chu Qing immediately follows up with another strike, this time breaking it in half. But the junior doesn't stop and uses his fist to attack him in rage, and with a single swing, Chu Qing cuts off his whole arm. He writhles in pain as his senior is watching in horror. He also gets angry and takes out a brush and paints in the sky, sending ink slashes towards Chu Qing. It causes a huge blast, but we see Chu Qing blocks the attack using his junior's body. He starts to grin and tells the guy to not be hasty if they are cultivating in the mortal realm. The guy gets even more pissed, telling he will definitely defeat him today, launching a huge wave of ink towards him, but Chu Qing dodges and appears behind him, stabbing him with his sword, which runs right through him, with the guy's last words being about his sister. After defeating everyone, he goes on to open the van and finds Yi Chenxi in the back, unconscious. He taps on her cheeks to wake her up, and she gets up suddenly. She immediately starts to worry and questions on why is here, telling about two guys who were so strong that even she couldn't land a hit on them. But he pulls her closer and hugs her, telling her that it's all good, don't be afraid. As she notices everyone defeated, she also hugs him back tightly. Chu Qing asks her if she has any idea who did it, and she replies that she feels it's the Li family. They are not on good terms, and recently they have officially started a war with them, but they always bring along two masters, which makes Yi Chenxi retreat. Chu Qing assumes no wonder they are on the move, they must have an agreement with those Taoist training in the deep mountains. Yi Chenxi informs that those masters are abnormal, their men was too strong, but it's not like she is belittling men, and Chu Qing smiles, telling her it's okay. He understands, and that it's making their family situation difficult, isn't it? She replies, many small families are also causing problems for them now. Chu Qing says, perhaps it's related to the auction that is going to happen. That's why ancient martial arts family are really active recently. There is a high chance of rare treasures to appear, it seems. Yi Chenxi replies, it does make sense. They must have tried to disrupt other families, so they cannot prepare for the auction. She leaps onto Chu Qing and gives him a kiss on his cheeks, telling him that he is her lucky star, asking, wouldn't he want to go to her home to meet her mom, since if they tell her, she would definitely thank him. He pats her on her head and agrees to go with her. Back to Yi family house, we see few people are sitting along with her mom. As they both arrive, her mom asks them both to join them and sit down. But her mother's big sister tells them to wait, arguing how can she let an outsider inside their secret meeting, not to mention a man at that. But he replies that he didn't came here to participate in their secret meeting. Her mom notes that Chu Qing was careless. She wanted to use this opportunity to fix his marriage with Yi Chenxi, but she lost the chance. But Chu Qing takes out and shows them the spirit stone, throwing it to Big Sis, telling her to have a look at this, to which she thinks is just a regular stone, and Miss Yi asks him, what is the use of it? He tells them that he made it himself, it's called a spirit stone, and explains Miss Yi to channel her internal strength within your body and feel its flow. As she concentrates and channels her energy, she suddenly feels something, surprising everyone by the sudden outburst, along with her, as she asks him, how much does he have? She will take them all if the price is reasonable. He replies it's not directly for sale, which angers Big Sis, saying if he is messing with them. He explains that there will be an auction in 2 days, and the price of the stone will be standardized there, so if they want to buy it, they can come to him. He will give them discount as well due to his relationship with Chenxi, and the reason he came here is that he has something extra as well, a talisman which provides protection and another one which boosts combat strength for a short time. They all get surprised hearing about that, asking how much of a boost it provides. He replies, "It's 30%. Surprising them again, as Miss Yi asks him, how much time and his price. He replies, that making talisman is easy, only a few days, but since it's not for profit, she can set the price. Elixir, however, they would have to wait a week. First batch will be supplied to the Yi family, and they can decide on price later. Big Sis asks him his motive for helping them. He replies it's simply due to Chensi being his friend. And she gets happy and moved upon hearing that. Now out of the house, as he is leaving, Chensi tells him that initially she was just messing around with him, now they have become friends and he is even helping her family. While Chu Qing starts to think that life here is much more interesting than he thought, as he plans to open his own business after the auction with the help of Yi family and spread his name. As he arrives at home, he notices someone is sighting along with his family. It's some fat lady who introduces herself as his second aunt, Chu Qing her. Chu Qing tells her that he have never heard of any relatives before, which prompts her aunt, as she informs him that she is here to talk about his arranged marriage, as Chu Qing thinks that he is only 17, not even at legal age. He refutes her that he is just in college, he will wait until graduation for marriage, but she replies, telling him that it will be a waste of money for him to go to college. Chu Qing starts to get pissed, as he remembers that this world is reversed, as a woman here takes favors over men, and considers it quite annoying due to situations like this. His aunt asks about Xiao, and his mom replies that she is just dilly-dallying around, and Chu Qing notes that she is probably still in bed due to being late at night. She mocks their mother, calling them uneducated just like she used to be back then, which makes his dad stand up and leave. Seeing that pisses him off, as he wants to beat her up for that foul mouth of her. Suddenly they hear a loud bang, and notices it's Chu Qing who just smashed his fist on the table, saying that he just saw a fly on the table, and his aunt realizes that she is not welcome here, telling Chu Qing to give his family explanation and respect them at least. As she leaves, telling Chu Qing to enjoy his college days while he can, since he will be married off soon, but he replies, why would he listen to her? She replies it's not up to him to decide, he just have to marry a rich girl and live comfortably, but he tells her that he is not someone cheap like her, who will sell himself out like that. And if she loves selling herself out, she should sell her leg off, telling her to think it's worth, as she starts to get pissed, telling his mom to get him checked to some psychiatrist for having such thoughts. But he just ignores her and heads back into his room. Inside the room, he calls Chensi, asking for a favor. Now in some bar, we see his aunt sitting and enjoying herself, as someone is staring at her from the door, and a few girls whom are on call with Chensi asks her that they found her, asking if what she wanted is a leg. Chensi orders them to also get a kidney while they are at it. Now inside Chu Qing's room, we see him creating protective artifacts for his friends and family since the situation has become unstable in Jinmen. We see him floating a knife and flying it towards the artifact, and the artifact activates, deflecting the knife away. He notes that the quality of jade pendant that Jia Yu bought him are quite good, they can handle a defensive sword array and tell if the wearer is in danger. Now next day at dinner, Chu Qing's parents tell him to study hard. But he tells them to not worry, and the issue with mom's family, he will pay them back. Though his dad tells him that he doesn't have to do that for them, and Chu Qing gives them the protective artifact he created. As they take and hold them, they note that it feels incredibly warm and comfy, asking him where did he got them. He makes an excuse that he got them from a high priest in a temple. Now next day at school, we see him tired and thinking that his mortal body cannot stand multiple nights of making artifacts. The class president tries to wake him up, but it's too late as the teacher notices him dozing off. She slams the table, suddenly waking him up, telling him that he slept so well, he has to answer the question on the board. He goes up to the board, realizing he cannot solve since he didn't pay attention, but suddenly remembers that he solved this problem before with the class president. And just like that he is able to solve it, which surprises his teacher. All the students comments that he was so fast and correct, even though he was sleeping, when they couldn't even understand even after paying attention, but his teacher still tells him to not sleep in class regardless. While Chu Qing thinks this is new for him as a failing student in his past life, as his teacher tells him, since he don't have any roles, she will assign him as a class president. Asking if there is any objection, to which he gets scared and denies. Fast forward and we see him laying face down on the bench and underneath, making talisman. He explains that these talisman can only block one lethal attack, and a safe price estimate would be around 30,000, as he wonders how much he can of this in short amount of time. As suddenly his friend comes along and wakes him up to talk, scaring him, and almost exploding the talisman. He asks Chu Qing if he is playing with fire, but Chu Qing notices the talisman isn't broken, but the quality has went down. He gives that one to his friend, telling him it will protect him, and he gets happy and gives him something in return as a thanks. It's a small bottle of cola, only half full, which pisses Chu Qing off. His friend asks Chu Qing to join the sport event that will be held in 2 days, and Chu Qing declines, saying that he is busy. He tries to convince him that his teacher will make him play anyway, since his video of playing ball is on the web, and we are in the last year of school, we should leave with some good memories. Chu Qing thinks that he should indeed have a good taste of his school life since he is back in his high school years. He finally agrees to his request, though he overhear him saying something about a price, which pisses off again, as he asks him, did he made a bet with someone or what? Suddenly we see some student starts to blush upon seeing someone. We see it's a beautiful girl with orange hair. She is introduced as Ling Weiner, the school idol who sings and plays piano, as she greets Chu Qing. He greets her back as well, as she compliments him for getting famous recently and even beating Tang Jian on the field. He replies, he just happened to be in his top condition, as she leans on him, telling about a gathering with their middle school friends, and asking him to guess the host. Ju Buchu, and he replies, as she asks, how did he know? And he replies, he is the person who loves to be in the spotlight the most. She asks him if he would like to, since it would boring without him and some friends also miss him, to which he replies, how can he not, since she asked. She says she will call him tomorrow then, and pinches on his cheek, telling him that the more she looks at him, the more handsome he looks. No wonder that Tang Jian has fallen heads over heels for him. As she leaves, Chu Qing thinks, since when did she become so annoying, teasing me like that? His friend asks him when did he got close with her, and he replies that he went to the primary school with her, and asks why is he looking like that, to which he states that she is his goddess, asking him to get her signature for her. He tells him to do it himself, to which he replies he cannot even talk to her, and Chu Qing calls him a coward. As Chu Qing leaves saying that he have something to do, we switch scenes to Tang Jian, who is doing her studying. As Chu Qing walks up to her, asking if she is doing her homework, she starts to blush as he gets close to her, telling him that she spent her whole afternoon solving this question, and he replies that he will teach her, as this is something he solved in class. As he sits together with her, teaching, everyone starts to stare at them, while she tells him that he makes it easy to understand. As they both starts to get surrounded by students, he pulls her out, telling her to come with him, since he has something to tell her. They arrive outside, and under a tree, Chu Qing hands over something to her, telling her to wear it all the time. As she notices the jade has more to it than it seems, telling him that since it looks precious, she don't need it. But he insists her to take, as it's imbued with magic to keep her safe. She gets moved by this and thanks him. Once again, inside the class, we see him making talisman, planning to make 30 until the bell rings. Fast forward as the bell rings, and we see his bag is full of talisman. And he plans to go to Chenxi to see the price they will offer for it. But suddenly his friend comes and taps on his shoulder, asking him to come to hang out with them. Chu Qing asks, where? And he replies, it's an exciting place, he promises. But he declines and leaves. He arrives at Chenxi's house, and she immediately hugs him, saying that he finally came. She was really bored, but notices something on him. She gets pissed at him as she smells a scent of another girl on him, asking if he was with another girl, and he replies, he wasn't, he doesn't have time for that, and hands out the protective charm to her, free of charge. As he picks up a glass and throws it towards her, which she gets surprised about, the artifact activates and blocks it. As he holds her hand and tells her that it's for her protection and it will trigger automatically, she smiles and again jumps on him, saying he is way too good. She gets all over him and tells him to not think that this will give him a pass to fool around with other girls, since she will find out. But he pushes her down and gets on top of her, saying that he got some business elsewhere so he will come see her after. He arrives at Hua Hua's apartment, noting that she didn't even lock the door. He finds her sleeping and crying as he wonders if she is having a bad dream. He wakes her up and she immediately hugs him, saying she again saw her mom leaving her and her dad, asking, will he leave like that as well, suddenly without any notice? As he thinks, maybe one day he will have to return, and when that time comes, but he tells her to not worry, he would never leave her. She smiles and says that he wouldn't dare to, because if he does, she will bite him to death. Now fast forward, we see they have both slept together again, as Chu Qing thinks to hurry up to home otherwise he will get in trouble. As he suddenly notices her computer, containing info on ancient martial arts family of Jin men. He looks at her and smile, since she did all for him, as he leaves the artifact with her and leaves after giving her a kiss. As he is walking home, his phone rings, and it's his dad. Asking him, where is he? He will send his mom to pick him up. He replies, nearby Jin market. As his mom arrives, he's surprised by how fast it was, to which she says she was nearby. As she asks him, where was he, since she is smelling woman's perfume on him, and he replies, he just went to a birthday party, thinking women have crazy sixth sense even in this world. His mom tells him, birthday parties are fine, but don't be alone with women, as she starts to smoke, which Chu Qing asks, didn't she stopped? She tells him that she is trying to cover up the scent of perfume on him, if his dad finds out it will be troubling, and he thanks her for it. As suddenly his phone buzz, as he looks over that Yi family paid him 1.2 million for the talisman. As he starts to plan to produce more otherworldly objects, since manufacturing those elixir will make him a fortune, he can single-handedly make an business empire from it. He then texts Jia Yu to meet him with since he got something for him. As they meet up, he hands him over the artifact and Jia Yu tells it's quite a bit of treasure and you're giving it to me? Though Chu Qing tells him to not sweat about it, and Jia Yu toasts with him, thanking him for it. As they both drink, Jia Yu opens up to him that this is the first time someone is treating him wholeheartedly because they want to be his friend. As Chu Qing asks him, what is making him say that? Jia Yu explains that his mom was from a rich family, so he was separated from his dad after their marriage and sent to a school for rich kids, where he was looked down upon and even being asked if he was a child out of wedlock, looking at him as if he is some freak. The past 2 years, they did gave him a chance to prove himself, but their gaze never changed. Chu Qing replies that he didn't had a comfortable life either. His mom was from a rich family as well, and they didn't accepted his dad, so they ran away together. And recently they found them out and pressured them to marry Chu Qing off with a rich, obese woman. Hearing that makes Jia Yu burst out laughing, as Chu Qing replies that he knew he would laugh at it. But Jia Yu gets up and says he is quite happy today and asks Chu Qing to get drunk with him, and they both do a toast. Now a drunk Chu Qing arrives home at late night, and as he walking up the stairs, we see his sister is also sneaking inside the house. He suddenly grabs onto her shoulders as she tries to tell their mom and dad about the alcohol. He shuts her mouth. Noticing his alcohol, she tells him that he won't be able to get married like that, as she starts to get dizzy and falls unconscious, and Chu Qing carries her inside. But he also starts to feel nauseous and falls as well. Suddenly he feels something in his hand and notices it feels good. We see it's his sister, who is flirting with him, telling him to come closer, as Chu Qing is confused as well. As suddenly he gets shocked upon noticing that he is holding on to his sister's breasts and immediately jumps, thinking that booze is quite scary and he will never drink again. Now next day we see him shopping and the clerk being incomplete or of his beauty, and he orders her to send all the clothes he tried to his house. Noting that he finally get clothes for the reunion part, now all he need is a car, so he won't have to bother Jia Yu, and suddenly someone calls him out from behind. Noting that he finally get clothes for the reunion party, now all he need is a car, so he won't have to bother Jia Yu, and suddenly someone calls him out from behind, asking him if he couldn't recognize his old classmate. Chu Qing notes it's Ju Bu-kun, and Bu-kun asks, why are you suddenly shopping? Didn't you like to stay at home all day? And tonight I have prepared a class reunion, you coming? Chu Qing flexes that he was personally invited by Lin Wan, and Bu-kun's expression changes, and he leaves after being pissed. Chu Qing remembers his middle school when he used to get bullied for being poor, and even the girl calling him a pervert. And Bu-kun was the one who spread lies all about him in the school, making him all alone, as he smiles, thinking he will give him a good chance to bully him. We see him arriving at a car dealership, as she salesperson shows him the car, thought he finds it's weird and not to his taste, asking if they had something more manly and less feminine. He finally likes a car to his taste, though the employees behind him assumes that someone rich must be taking care of him, which annoys Chu Qing, thinking it's a hilarious mindset that some rich sassy person have it to him without working since he is a boy. Fast forward at night, we see Chu Qing arrives, all suited up. As he enters the place, seeing all of his old classmates having fun, he notices Tang Jiyan and goes on to sit with her, asking where is Lin Wan, since she was the one who invited him. She replies she doesn't know, but Bu-kun will lose his bet since Chu Qing arrived all dressed up, that he will invite everyone to eat for a week, though Chu Qing wonders if he is an idiot, since he saw him shopping for clothes just yesterday. As he is standing right behind him, all annoyed and pissed, Jiyan tells him that Bu-kun thought you probably wouldn't be able to buy anything, and Chu Qing mocks him by calling him out to make sure to invite him as well to eat. Thought to keep up his image, he replies that he will invite everyone to eat at school canteen for a week. As he once again gets pissed at Chu Qing, and Zhong tells Chu Qing that he is quite smart since eating at canteen would be quite cheap. Now fast forward a bit, and Bu-kun announces that he is making an all-boys basketball team, and sarcastically asks Chu Qing if he want to join since he plays a little bit of it, to which he replies he is not interested. Zhang takes offense of it, saying he beat her, so would that mean she also doesn't know how to play, putting Bu-kun in a difficult situation. She tells him to cast his problems aside and play to win, though he replies that he doesn't have any problem with Chu Qing. She asks Chu Qing as well about what does he think, and he replies, it's perfect, and tries to feed Ji Yin with his own hand, which causes her to smile and blush as she leans onto the chopsticks, completely annoying Bu Kun as she asks Chu Qing if he wants to join the team as well. He replies that he has one condition, she has to kiss him, which he gets excited about and replies, just that, how about a French kiss? As he pulls up her chin and they both begin to kiss. Afterwards, she tells him that now that he has accepted, if he wins there will be a very special reward for him, as everyone starts to cheer and hype them up. They all tell them to invite them over since she got a boyfriend now, and Chu Qing tells them that he will invite them to eat dessert at a nearby restaurant. As they all get excited about it, with Jian asking if he is sure about it, to which he asks, does she think he cannot pay? He pats her on her head and tells her to calm down, since she is his girlfriend. He won't disappoint her, but she pinches his cheek, playfully telling him how could he try to be more famous than a girl? While looking at them, Bu Kun is seething, that this meeting was made for him, he was supposed to be center of attention, how dare he became that. Fast forward, Chu Qing treats everyone to the dessert as he promised. Suddenly Lin Wan arrives and Bu Kun gets up to greet her, and she tells them she couldn't come due to something important. Though she ignores him completely and goes straight to Chu Qing, as Chu Qing tells her that it's so bad of her to keep him waiting. They both starts to chat as Bu Kun looks at them with frustration. One of the guy tells Bu Kun to play the piano since the pianist didn't came. He flexes about his piano skills and asks Lin Wan to dance on it, since it would be more fun, which she agrees to do so. She raises her hand towards Chu Qing and declares that this dance will be dedicated to her best friend. Everyone starts to get jealous and comments how Chu Qing is so lucky to have the love of two goddesses at the same time, which annoys Bu Kun. He starts to play the piano and Lin Wan begins to dance as well. Chu Qing notes he is good with piano and Ji Yang replies, isn't the dance better? And he asks her if she is jealous, though she replies to look at her since she is dancing especially for him. Bu Kun looks at them with anger, thinking the girl he likes is dancing for him, yet he is talking to another girl. He slams on the piano, shouting at Chu Qing if he doesn't have any respect, and he replies that whether he plays or not is not his problem. But Bu Kun replies that he doesn't care about that, but about Lin Wan. Chu Qing gets up and looks at her with wine in his hands. He drinks the wine and she starts to smile, ending her dance with a graceful bow to everyone. It pisses Bu Kun off, telling Chu Qing that he is laughing while someone is acting, and Chu Qing mocks him, saying if he played piano like him, he would have cut his hands off already. In anger, Bu Kun demands Chu Qing with an apology and to get on his knees. Chu Qing challenges him that he will have to cut off his hands if he won, which scares Bu Kun. As Chu Qing starts singing, everyone gets enthralled by it. Both Jian and Lin Wan also get surprised and Bu Kun also feeling like he is in some kind of beautiful field. With Chu Qing explains that it was the true song of the gods, and everyone is completely shocked upon hearing it. As Chu Qing starts to release his aura, scaring Bu Kun. Though Lin Wan comes in between also scared. And Chu Qing asks if she is going to ask him to forgive him, and she goes all silent hearing that. But Jian comes along, grabbing his shoulders, asking him to stop scaring him since he is a colleague and he would have problems too if he does that, and Chu Qing stops as well, noting he was consumed by the wrath due to this song, forgetting he is in mortal realm. Though he still stands up and grabs a knife, and goes on to Bu Kun and cuts top of his hair, and then throwing the knife right in between his legs, telling that he is not the old Chu Qing whom he can bully easily, and Bu Kun tells him that he is being too harsh. He replies, would he have let him go if he lost, even if he begged, telling Bu Kun to flip off, as he doesn't want to see him anymore, as everyone watches him run away, and they all are scared as well. Though he lightens up the mood, telling them to continue since the annoying person is gone. As Jian tells him that he is getting harder to understand for her every single time, making him blush. He replies, it isn't, I guess you know who I am. As he starts to go home as well, though making it hard since he is smelling of beer. He calls his sister, telling him to make some excuse for him, as he won't be able to come home tonight. She asks where is he going at this time. She isn't going to lie for him. He offers to pay her if she helps her, and she immediately agrees. At night, he goes on to Hua Hua's house, noting she is probably awake, noting that the gate is already open. As he enters the house, he notes she is being held by some guy. The guy holding her asks who is Chu Qing? But he pulls her to his side, stating that she is his girlfriend, and the guy asks if he is her boyfriend. He replies that he is her dad, and she owes him 3 million yuan. She retaliates that he is lying, he is the one who owns her money, since he always gambles with it. He tells her since she is his daughter, it's naturally that she will pay him, and she replies, how would she get that money? She throws a card on his face, telling him to not come back again after this, though his dad turns to Chu Qing now to ask for more money. She tries to defend him, that he is just a student, he doesn't have any money, and his father starts to berate her for seducing students and telling Chu Qing that he is using her money to live. She replies, if he had money he wouldn't have noticed her, hearing which, Chu Qing thinks that she didn't had to say that, but her father grabs her, saying to break up with her, and he will find her a rich boyfriend. She starts to get scared, as he tells her that he can sell her body for a night to rich people, she wouldn't have to marry then. Hua Hua gets scared and starts to tremble in fear as her dad holds her hand tightly. But Chu Qing once again pulls her over to his side and tells her dad that he will give him the 3 million, but he has to cut his relationship with Hua Hua and never disturb her again in return. Her dad gets excited upon hearing his offer and asks if he is serious about that. Hua Hua tries to stop Chu Qing by saying that he doesn't have to, but he replies that he will handle this, she doesn't have to worry. Her father gets greedy and tells him that 3 million isn't enough, he wants it to be at least 5 million. Hua Hua gets angry hearing that, and Chu Qing replies that right now, he has to sign a document stating that his father and daughter relationship with Hua Hua has ended, only then he will hand over him the money. But her dad replies that he is not going to do that one, he is only willing to accept that he won't search for her anymore. But Chu Qing tells him that what he is going to write is his own problem, but when the night gets over, and he couldn't sell Hua Hua, the deal will be off, as such he panics, and tells him that he will sign it. As her dad hands over the signed paper, he asks, where is his money now? Chu Qing replies that there is no need to rush, he will show him something first. He takes a cup in his hand and morphs it into a sharp object using his magic, which shocks her dad that he can use magic. He throws it right at him, purposefully missing him and only hitting his ear, as her dad starts to scream in pain. He tells him that he will send him the money to his account, but also warns him that even in his dreams, if dares to bother Hua Hua again, he will have a lot of ways to torture and silence him without anyone ever knowing anything. He gets scared hearing that and runs away. She then lovingly hugs Chu Qing and tells him that she will pay him back the 5 million for sure. But Chu Qing assures her that it was just a penny on him, as she blushes and her starts to throb. As such, she once again gives him a good kiss. Fast forward in the morning, we see they both have slept together again, as Chu Qing starts to wake up as well. Hua Hua stares at her with love in her eyes, as seeing her, he asks if the sun has risen from the west, that she actually got up early. Though she replies that he should hurry up and wash, as she has something good for him. Fast forward and we see them sitting for breakfast and Hua Hua is looking at him all lovingly. Seeing this, Chu Qing asks her why is she suddenly so caring with him. She blushes and replies that she doesn't want to lose him. He gives her a little pinch and tells her that she doesn't have to worry about that and just be herself. Fast forward and she gets to the kitchen and washes the dishes, while Chu Qing thinks that Hua Hua woke up motivated and his back is quite aching. Suddenly he gets a text from Zhai Yu, asking if his problem got resolved. Chu Qing thanks him for the 5 million that he gave him and he texts back that he doesn't need to worry about that. He then gets another message, this time from Tang Ziyan, who tells him to come to the basketball court after the club. Now fast forward to after school, we see Chu Qing heading towards the basketball court. There we see all the boys playing like little girls. Meanwhile, Tang Ziyan is sitting and watching them. Chu Qing arrives and asks her if they are playing basketball or catching the ball, and how would they play like this. She replies that they cannot wait until they reach a girl's level, the best from other schools are like this as well. She then changes the subject and asks if he remembers that he told her that he had a new formula that other time. And he replies he has this thing in his hand which can aid mages and magic upgrading. She asks if he trusts her with this and that she wouldn't steal the formula and just run away with it. But he replies that if he tells her that he just wanna help her and he doesn't care about the money at all, would she believe him? And she replies she will. And that she thinks she really fell in love with him. He asks if that means she didn't like him before. But she blushes and looks at him romantically while saying that she used to only find him interesting before, but now it's different. She then pulls him towards herself with her tie and gives him a kiss on his lips. Suddenly, we see a ball is heading towards them, and Chu Qing notices it and stops the ball. We see it was thrown on purpose by some bald dude who looks quite pissed at Chu Qing. Meanwhile, Chu Qing spins the ball on his fingers and tells Tang Ziyan that it's all her fault, that she has a fan club and they don't support seeing them together. She lashes out at them and gives them a punishment to do 50 laps around the court. Now fast forward at night, we see Chu Qing studying in his room, as his mom comes. He notices her and looks back, she doesn't say anything and simply sits down for a moment. She then tells him that he needs him to answer something, and she hopes he will answer her honestly and asks him if there is any girl he likes. Chu Qing replies, there is, but why is she asking him that so suddenly? She replies, that it must be a girl from an influential family, as it's not surprising that the Yi family is helping her company lately, though she doesn't care if he marries the person he loves, she doesn't want to hide anything from him, and the aunt that he met a few days ago was her half-sister. There are 7 or 8 members in their family. Her mom and her grandma married 5 men and had lots of children as well. So his second aunt had an accident and is delaying the plans. She continues on that their family isn't going to forfeit that matter. At this moment, she is powerless, so she cannot protect him. Chu Qing asks her if they all can't be friendly. She replies and asks, does he wants to get married to Yi Chenxi and get rid of his arranged wedding, and if he knows the National University. He replies that he knows, not only it's number 1, but it's also one of the strongest forces in the country. His mom gets fired up and tells him if he wants to get rid of the arranged marriage and build his own destiny, he needs to get into that university. With that, the Chu family wouldn't even try to oppose the university's authority, and he replies, he will try. Fast forward and we see him meditating, thinking that the National University is a very special presence in this world. In its foundation circles, it increased lots of resources to the empire, and certainly has lots of information as well. As such, he would like to know the secrets of the world, as the cultivation level of this world is the same as the fairy world. He then makes a golden sword in his hand, thinking, there are 5 masteries of external cultivation, building foundation, Danjing, Yuanying, infant transformation, and Mahayana, and he has been cultivating for 300 years, passing through Mahayana mastery and ascending. He thought that he would enter the kingdom of eternity, but he came to this weird world instead. Suddenly, he opens his eyes as he feels the sword has changed, even though it's unable to be detected by the naked eye. He notes that it's different, and he seemingly went the way named Rong Dao Yun, and if the rust of this sword won't disappear, the consequences are inconceivable, and if the road's base falls, he will die. And he has to find the bowl as fast as possible and hide it before someone else will. Suddenly, his phone rings. As he picks it up, we see it's Zhai Yu, who is yelling at him that he alerted him multiple times that he should attend the auction tonight, and it's about to start as well. Chu Qing wonders, how did it happen? And we see a flashback of him looking at his phone in the school. He seems to be reading the text messages from Zhai Yu about the auction, and he suddenly puts down his phone. And then sleeps immediately. Back to the present, he realizes that he forgot about it and fell asleep. Fast forward and he gets ready for the auction, while thinking to check if there is any spiritual material from a god-made gold that is suitable to make his sword sheath. Now at the Shenzhen auction house, we see Zhai Yu seems to be talking to some girl in red. As she is going, she smacks his butt, and Chu Qing thinks that the Shai family seems to want him to be known by some famous women's. People around Chu Qing starts to mock him upon noticing him, commenting if people like him can participate in the auction as well, calling him quite degraded and laughable. She suddenly bumps into Chu Qing on purpose, and the guy with him tells him that this isn't a place where poor people like him can be, and the girl tells him to stop looking at her like this. He cannot be a white swan as he think he is. Chu Qing replies back that this is the Shai family's place, and asks if they are the owners, and Shai family will lose their image if they were to know what type of person they have here. She gets angry hearing that and puts out her hand to hit Chu Qing, telling him how dare he make her the bad face, and he shouldn't think that she won't hit him just because he is a man. But he grabs her hand in the middle and tells her that he didn't had any intentions in talking with her, it was her who started it. He then twists her arm and breaks it, and the guy with her gets scared, while he yells for the security to come. Jai comes saying that Chu Qing is his good brother, and trying to shame him would be like to shame him. As such, he bans both of them from the Shenzhen auction house. He calls on the security to get them thrown out, but they tries to ask for his forgiveness and apologizes to him. He looks towards Chu Qing, telling him that seems like he had a bad reception, and Chu Qing replies that it's no problem, and asks that didn't he wanted to tell him something. Jai then asks Chu Qing if his mom is a member of the Chu family in the imperial capital, and he replies that she is. Jai informs him that his aunt, Chu Qing'er, lost one leg and one kidney. Someone from the Chu family in the imperial capital came to buy that information, and he immediately intercepted. Chu Qing asks him if he knows who committed the murder, and he replies that there was no lead and the investigation is still going on. Chu Qing thinks that he was really worried at that time, without knowing the Chu family's reputation in the imperial capital. Suddenly, Yi Chenxi arrives and greets him, and both Jai and Chu Qing greets them back. Her mom tells Chu Qing that she heard that he will be taking the exam to join the university. He should study a lot instead of going out like this, as he can do this anytime after he joins. Hearing which, Chu Qing thinks that she seems to be worried about his relation with Jai Yu and tells her that he would be okay, she doesn't have to worry. Chenxi pushes her mom away, telling her that she needs to say something to Chu Qing, so she should get going. And as her mom leaves, she leaps onto Chu Qing, hugging him tightly, while saying that they finally met. Jiayu, watching all that, gets embarrassed and tells them don't they need to go in, as the auction will be starting soon. But Chu Qing tells him to not take whatever Aunt Yi said seriously, and Jiayu replies, of course he won't, she cares about him, so she makes him her favorite son-in-law, hearing which Chu Qing blushes. Chu Qing asks him while going if there is any special metal in this place, and Jiayu replies that both of them should head to the room first, he will give them the information later. Now inside the room, Chenxi asks Chu Qing that the spirit stones that he mentioned, would they really appear in the auction, and he replies, they will, and 5 of them at that. He hands her over the juice and she tells him that is he really giving her tea with milk while he drinks wine himself. Chu Qing remembers that this is a reverse world where women like alcoholic drinks, especially her. She tells him that if he doesn't like women who drink, she can stop, but Chu Qing replies that he doesn't really care. She suddenly pulls him in towards her breasts and tells him that they should drink now, just the 2 of them. Smelling her perfume, Chu Qing blushes and thinks that she really wants him to do that with her. She tells him that she bought maid clothes and bunny ears, just like he asked for last time, hearing which he spits out his drink and blushes while imagining her in a maid outfit. She quickly gets on top of him and he starts to get nervous and blushes hard. Chu Qing thinks that she is really sexy, very enticing, and that her body is incredibly tempting as well. He quickly kisses her widely while thinking that nothing matters anymore. But just then, suddenly Jiayu comes in to tell Chu Qing something and bricks up upon seeing them making out. He quickly goes out and apologizes for interfering and tells them to continue. Chenxi tells him to forget it and to continue doing with her, but Chu Qing pushes her away, telling her that the auction will be starting shortly, so next time. Chenxi teases him by asking if he is embarrassed now, but Chu Qing gets annoyed hearing that and thinks that if it weren't for Jiayu spying on them, he would have made her defenseless. We see Jiayu was standing outside and eavesdropping on them, as Chu Qing shouts at him to come in quickly. As he comes back in, he apologizes to them for disturbing their activity, though gives the reason that he was just handing them some information. As he hands over them the tablet, Chu Qing asks if these are all the items that are in the auction, while thinking that there is nothing here with any spiritual golden material from the gods that could free his sword. Jiayu comes to him and tells him that there is a piece of meteor in the list. He shows him the listing, telling him to not underestimate that one, just because it's tiny, it's so dense that there are hundreds of kilograms inside of it, and if normal firearms uses this type of material, it would be enough for it to transform into a magical weapon. And it's still hot as well, as when he studied it, he almost got burned, and Chu Qing says that apparently it can also turn into a pan that gathers energy and it's pollution-free as well. Chenxi starts laughing at it, and Jiayu gets embarrassed and angry with Chu Qing and takes the tablet away from him, saying that his eyes are too high. He then goes to Chenxi to show her the list, and she notices something that catches her interest. We see it's some kind of pot, calling Chongye, and Chu Qing asks her if she wants it, and she replies that this item is probably hunted by everyone, and even if she gets it, she won't be able to protect it from others. Looking at it, suddenly Chu Qing notices something. He sees that it's dawen, it's not the wine that is important, but the bowl itself, and it's the exact material that he was searching for as well. Jiayu tells Chu Qing that if he begs him, he can unwillingly take him to see the real thing. But Chu Qing replies there is no need, and thinks that if the bronze pot is really a spirit material, that he would have to pay serious consideration for it. Suddenly someone puts up a price of 100 million, and Chu Qing notes from that voice that it was Tang Jiyan. He looks below, wondering, what are they auctioning now, that Tang Jiyan went as far as 100 million for it. And upon noticing it, he realizes that it's Tang family formula. Chu Qing questions who had the power to auction off Tang family's formula and if it was the Li family, and Jiayu says that he doesn't think it's that simple, Tang family's internal issue must have contributed to this. As such, Jiayu decides to head back and ask. But suddenly, Chu Qing hears some burping and upon looking around, he notices Chenxi sneaking a drink, which pisses him off. She gets scared and tells him that she couldn't stop herself, and if he doesn't like it, she will stay away from it. He asks her how old is she, and if she even cares about anything other than fooling with men. Chenxi suddenly gets close to him and puts her hand on his head, saying that his temperature is fine, but he seems like a different person, and asks what is wrong with thinking about relationships, does he not care at all? He replies that if she remembers when he asked her to teach a woman a lesson, as the people she used back then are all dead, and her own mom was the one who killed them. She gets shocked hearing that, and questions, why is that? Chu Qing tells her to think about it, as despite being the heir of the family, her mom didn't give her any power, why would be that? And her mom almost got assaulted and almost died as well, it was because she sensed danger that she let her in on family matters. But despite all that, she doesn't even know her own family matters, and she doesn't even care about the disaster happening with the Tang family right now. And what if she suddenly became the head of her family, and then the problem will fall on her hand? What would she do? She gets annoyed, and tells him that he sounds like her mom, and if he keeps talking like her old man despite being 17, he will stop being cute. But he gets angry and lashes out at her, saying, does she think that he wants to care? It's just that he doesn't want her woman to die without knowing why herself, and he would have to take care of the funeral and revenge if that were to happen. She tells him that these things are so annoying, and gets close to him, saying that it's not like he would leave her, is it? He blushes and tells him that he will definitely ignore her, and Chensi replies that she knew he can never leave her. Fast forward as she leaves, Chu Qing sits down and sighs, thinking about her saying that next time they meet, she will eat him up. Jiayu comes informing him that his 5 pieces made 5 million, and he would have 3 million after the 2 million commission, and would he like it in cash or keep it credit? Chu Qing tells him to keep it credit, and asks who bought that Jiang in the end. Jiayu replies that he knows the buyer, but he cannot say due to the auction rules. Chu Qing apologizes for asking, and says that he is not interested in the Jiang, but its bronze container, and Jiayu is a bit surprised upon hearing that. It makes him wonder if it was some sort of treasure that he misjudged its value. And as he sees Chu Qing, he thinks that he thought he saw through him, but seems like he is still full of mystery, while Chu Qing smirks after saying that. Seeing Chu Qing smirk like that makes Jiayu thinks that he made a mistake in evaluating the item. But Chu Qing tells him to quite showing that tongshu of his and that bronze pot is indeed a treasure, but it's useless for him. Jiayu replies that he indeed shouldn't be using his level of tongshu on someone like him, and he won't do it again either. Hearing all that, Chu Qing gets up and tells him that he will get going for now, and Jiayu asks if he has something urgent to do, as he is leaving quite soon. He also had a good place to show him. But Chu Qing replies that he had to slip out of his house and pause his assignments. He also has classes tomorrow, hence, he cannot do that. Jiayu makes fun of him, saying that he forgot he was still a student, and that he should go do his homework like a good boy. Now on the way back home, Chu Qing hopes that his dad hasn't figured out that he isn't home, but considers it good enough that he was at least able to do what he planned at the auction. He thinks that if he can get hold of that pot, his chief problem will be solved, and the next thing he needs to do is to form an alliance, similar to the auction house or the Yi family. As after all, he is no longer that solo swordsman with no attachment to this world. As now, he has family, friends, and the people he love and cherish. And for them, he has to fight in order to make his own kingdom in this world. As he passes one of the sign, which informs him that there is a construction going on ahead and he should take a detour. He thinks that it's quite weird, as he is unable to see any other cars around here, and there was no sign of any ongoing construction when he was heading to the auction house. Suddenly, he notices a huge bolt of lightning raining down from the sky, and thinks that it's a powerful murderous aura. He stops his car on the side and crawls through the grass fields so see what is going on and see some people. We see it's a group of people standing off against another villain waifu who seems to be enveloped in a purple aura. Seeing her, Chu Qing wonders, who is that in the purple robe, as her aura is stronger than the others combined. The old lady asks Officer Jianwu that this item was brought by them in the auction. Is she really planning to commit murder just to obtain it? Hearing her name, Chu Qing remembers that he heard about them from Chensi. The police are unable to govern the ancient martial artists group, so the government set up the Jianwu department to keep them under control. The girl asks in reply if they have no shame as they abused their power as a martial artists to take away a belonging of their country. But the old lady gets angry and calls it dog's hit, and that this is nowhere near severe enough for a purple robe like herself to police, and asks her for her judgment order. Chu Qing thinks that the judgment order must be a token to take action from the Jianwu department. The girl replies, of course, and reaches into her robe, but instead rushes in to punch the old lady. And we see her landing a critical hit on her, as she is flown back right into her guards. Fast forward, and we see she ended up killing everyone there quite easily, seeing which, Chu Qing gets nervous as she is quite ruthless and killed all of them in a blink of an eye. She goes on towards the car and opens its trunk and pulls out the bronze pot from it. Seeing which, Chu Qing is quite shocked, as this pot was at the auction. She also notices him observing her and calls him to show himself immediately. Chu Qing slowly walks out of the grass field while saying that if he told her that he was just happened to pass by, would she believe him? She replies that she would believe him, but immediately disappears and attacks Chu Qing head-on, while saying that she would have to ask him to die for this. But we see Chu Qing has blocked her attack and pulls out his sword while saying that it's not good for a woman to be so irritable. As he attacks her with his sword, she dodges it by jumping away, and counters immediately by landing a kick right on Chu Qing's face. Though Chu Qing seems completely unaffected by her, and she gets scared seeing it. He then punches her away, and she goes flying from it. Chu Qing moves towards her while saying that she would have to do more than that if she wants to silence him. She gets back up and removes her robe while saying, if he is looking for death. She then pulls out a firearm with some aura coming out of it, and Chu Qing notes that the murderous aura is terrifyingly strong. She quickly points it towards him and shoots at him, while saying that it's time to die, handsome. The bullet cracks and breaks Chu Qing's barrier and causes a huge explosion at his location. She smirks thinking of her victory and starts to walk back to the car to leave. Right as she is admiring the bronze pot, we see a sword stabs her. She gets shocked and looks back in fear as the sword is digging into her and gushing out blood. In shock, she asks him how didn't he die, and Chu Qing goes towards her and pulls out his sword while she lays on the ground. We see a black smoke is coming out of his shoulder as well as he kneels down from the damage. He quickly sits down to meditate, thinking that the bullet's murderous aura was massive and he would have to seal it right away. But as he tries to seal it away, it suddenly starts to hurt and Chu Qing screams in pain. We see Chu Qing sitting covered in blood, thinking that the bullet's murderous aura isn't backing down, and even if he managed to seal it, it would break loose and try to kill him soon after. He picks up the firearm and notes that it just looks like a normal weapon, but as he looks over, he finds the bullet itself as well. He picks it up and thinks that it seems like the aura was stored within the bullet, and that it must be specifically designed to deal with martial artists. Now we switch scenes to Hua's residence, where she suddenly hears a loud sound right outside her apartment. As she goes on to check, we see it's Chu Qing, who seems to be in a lot of pain. She gets really worried and asks him what happened and does he want her to take him to a hospital. But Chu Qing tells her to not worry, as he isn't gonna die anytime soon, and tells her to cut the rotting flesh out of his wound. She lays him down on a bed and notices that it's really bad, but she is quite scared and starts to tremble, thinking that she cannot do that, she cannot hurt Chu Qing. She suddenly remembers Chenxi, that she can do it for sure in her stead. Fast forward and we see Chenxi arrives to Hua's place and seems quite worried and serious as well. She asks Hua to hand over the knife, and with that, she quickly stabs Chu Qing in the throat. We see Chu Qing screaming in pain, and Chenxi tells him to endure it, and that despite getting himself in this much trouble, can he tolerate even this much of pain. Fast forward, as the treatment is done, we see Chu Qing laying on the bed with bandages on his neck. Hua asks him if he is feeling better, and Chenxi tells her to not worry, as he is fine now. Meanwhile, Chu Qing thinks that Hua was too scared to hurt him and she called Chenxi to do it, which makes things really awkward for him. Chenxi then tells Hua to get Chu Qing some water, and we see her going out of the room. Chenxi gets angry at Chu Qing and asks him what is this, was he really hanging out with Hua behind her back, and seeing her expression, Chu Qing thinks she is quite scary. But he replies, she is allowed to have multiple men by his side, yet he cannot have multiple women of his own. Chenxi asks if it means that he wouldn't care if she went looking for other men as well. But he replies that she does have that right, but whether he accepts it or not is another story, which causes her to lash out at him for his double standard. Chu Qing continues on that this society is unfair to begin with, and if she cannot accept this, she can leave him anytime she wants, hearing which, she gets quite angry. Though she finally accepts it, but pulls his ear and asks him why did he choose to go to Hua's place instead of her. Fast forward a bit, and Chu Qing wonders if Chenxi really got over it just like that, though she did nagged a lot at him. She then asks Chu Qing to tell her what happened last night with him, and he replies that he killed a messenger from Jianwu. Both Chenxi and Hua are shocked upon hearing that. He tries to justify himself by saying that she wanted to kill him, so he didn't had any other choice. Now Chenxi analyzes the bullet and says that it's quite interesting that he got hit by a Wang Chuan and survived, and Chu Qing asks if that bullet is called Wang Chuan. She explains, indeed, this bullet is a nightmare for martial artists practitioners, though luckily, it's not easy to make, so there is a low supply of them, and not everyone in the Jianwu department has it either. She then asks him what rank was the messenger, and Chu Qing replies he doesn't know, but she was wearing a purple robe. Chenxi explains that they are ranked from red to yellow, green, blue, and finally purple, similar to the martial artists, where purple is the lowest rank, and normally only a green messenger has the right to own one of these bullets. And she calls it quite a dog's hit luck that Chu Qing have, as he met a purple robe with a Wang Chuan, and Chu Qing asks Chenxi, how does martial artists rank themselves then? She asks, how could he not know that, despite being one himself, but Chu Qing starts making up a story that he met some guy named Hua Ji when he was a kid. But Chenxi gets annoyed and stops him in the middle, saying that he should stop if he doesn't want to say it, and to not make up a bullshit story to entertain her. She then starts explaining that martial artists are divided into 5 ranks as well, starting from Ru, then Wu, Ji, Hua, and finally, Shen. Each domain also has 9 levels. He then asks Chensi what domain is she at, and she replies that she is at Ru domain 9 and almost breaking into Wu rank. Chu Qing's phone starts to ring and he quickly gets up, saying that he recovered all night, and there is no more time, he has to get school now, thinking that his dad must have found out he was gone all night, so has to go to school right now. But Chensi pushes him down again, and tells him that he is not going anywhere with that kind of wound, he can do whatever after a few days of rest, and Hua agrees with her as well. Chu Qing unties his bandages and shows her that it's all healed up, and Chensi gets shocked seeing that, and asks if he is even human, as surviving Wang Chuan is one thing, but recovering from it in such a short time is insane. She then asks him, how did he manage to stop the aura of Wang Chuan from spreading, and he replies that it's quite simple if she wants to learn. She gets excited hearing that, since being able to deal with Wang Chuan is already unbelievable, it's something that every martial artist would dream to know, but would he really teach her that? He replies, he will surely, though right now he would be going to class, as he is getting late. She tells him to wait, but Chu Qing has already left, and Hua gets nervous seeing all this. Chensi starts to leave as well, and Hua calls her out, but she doesn't reply and slams the door on her way out. Seeing which, Hua wonders if Chensi is mad at her. Now fast forward in the classroom, we see Chu Qing sleeping on his desk soundly. The class president behind him tries to wake him by repeatedly calling out his name, though he doesn't wake up despite this. Suddenly, the teacher arrives and slams on his desk, which causes him to wake up, and she tells him that he got gut sleeping in her class, and that even the class rep is covering for him. The teacher is introduced as Tong Fei, and she tells Chu Qing to stand outside and call his parents to come this evening. He asks her, can she not do that, and she gets angry and replies, how dare he talk back to her, who does he think he is, as first he was sleeping in her class and now this, she doesn't care if he don't want to learn, but if he affects the others, that's the problem. Song Chaoran apologizes to the teacher, saying that it was their fault, and seeing her apologize, Chu Qing decides to do the same as well. He then sincerely tries to apologize by saying that it was his fault, and he promises to not affect anyone else next time he falls asleep in class. Hearing this, everyone in the class laughs and the teacher gets really angry. She lashes out at Chu Qing that if he wants to sleep, he can go ahead and do that, and tells Song Chaoran that if she fails to get top 10 this exam, she will call her parents as well, and that she wants to let her parents see how she wasted herself in school for a mere boy. Chu Qing starts to get angry and tells her that it was his fault, so why is she picking on her, and instead of her, let him take the exam. The teacher replies, sure, but if he fails to do it, she won't just stop at calling his parents over, but also make sure that both of them do a self-reflection essay so they can embarrass themselves in the Monday assembly in front of everyone in school. And then everyone would know the harm of young love and stay away from it, hearing which, Chu Qing is confused and wonders if it's about her and Song Chaoran. As he looks over to her, he sees her blushing and wonders if she actually likes him and blushes as well. Now we switch scenes to Tang Jiyan, as one of the girl comes running to her, and informs her that the school king is cheating on her. Hearing which, she immediately goes over to Song Chaoran and all of them surrounds her, as Chaoran gets scared and asks them, what are the first class students doing here at the 6th class? The girl, introduced as Dao Yuniao, mocks Chaoran by telling her to look at herself, and if she really thinks that she can take away her boss's man. Chaoran is unable to speak up anything and stutters, while Tang Jiyan looks over and asks, where is Chu Qing? Everyone from the 6th class quickly goes away and leaves Chu Qing alone. And as Tang Jiyan looks over in the class and finds him resting on his desk, she thinks that Chu Qing is actually crying. She goes over to Chu Qing and shakes him, asking if he is okay out of concern. Though as he wakes up, he asks her what's up and that he is so sleepy. She then asks him that she heard about what happened, so she came to see him and take him out for lunch, hearing which, Chu Qing thinks that bad news sure travels fast. Chaoran comes and apologizes to them, saying that it was all due to her. But Chu Qing gets up and tells her that he was the one who slept in the class and got her in trouble, hence, she shouldn't bear the blame, and asks her if she is actually in love with him. Seeing her blush heavily like that, he thinks that he is right about that. He then hugs her, saying that he was joking, and he hopes that she doesn't mind it, as she is a good woman and will always be his friend. She blushes hard while Chu Qing thinks that he has lived 3 lifetimes and this is the first time he is friend-zoning someone, and as Tang Jiyan is staring at them. Now fast forward at evening, we see Yuniao sitting together along with Chu Qing and Tang Jiyan in a restaurant. She gets angry at Chu Qing and berates him, saying that he has nothing that matches Xian other than a pretty face, yet he dares to hug another woman in front of her, as such, he should apologize to her immediately. But Chu Qing hits back, that there are so many followers chasing Tang Xian yet she isn't apologizing to him. Yuniao asks him if he is jealous that Xian isn't paying enough attention to him, and he replies he doesn't need her spoiling him, and if anything, he should be the one spoiling her. Hearing his statement, she starts to laugh and Xian says that she would be waiting for that, but he would have to be stronger than her to do that, otherwise it won't be possible. Chu Qing with determination tells her to just wait. Yuniao again starts, saying that all jokes aside, she warns him to stay away from other women's, and that he should also change that rebellious attitude of his, and that she wants soft words and smiles from him, hearing which, Chu Qing smirks sarcastically. In anger, Yuniao slams the table, saying if he is hearing her, but much to her shock, he pulls her towards himself, and asks, does she want him to distance himself from women's, and if she counts in them as well, should he stay away from her as well? Hearing which, she starts to blush, and Xian orders her that it's enough, and she should head back first. She stands up and does so, albeit annoyingly. Xian asks Chu Qing if he is mad at her that she didn't said a word, and he replies, he isn't, and that he is different from other men, so she should not expect anything special from him. He then holds her hand, saying that he is serious when he says that he loves her, so he wants her to rely on him sometimes. She blushes and replies, really, then she would be looking forward to that. She then switches the topic, saying that from all this she got reminded about the formula that he gave her. It was tested by her lab and it was not something that can help with the cultivation of martial arts. And that it was a recipe for poison, hearing which, he gets shocked and thinks that it's impossible, as he is plenty sure that the formula he gave her was for cultivation boosting. Xian tells him that the formula was special, the lab couldn't understand it fully to this day, that said, the poison is still an important asset to the Tang family, she would be taking it, and asks Chu Qing to name his price for it. Chu Qing tells her to take it simply, and thinks that he has to do his own research about that cultivation booster being a poison for martial artists. Xian gets offended upon hearing that, and replies, there is no way she would do that, and it would be ridiculing her if he thinks that he can buy her off with this formula, but he replies that he doesn't have that kind of intention in the slightest, and asks, what would be a good price for it? She replies, it would be 200 million, hearing which, he gets shocked and thinks that if he sell off all of his recipes, he would have been rich by now. He then excitedly tells her that he will deal, and he also wants some herbs from her, thinking that Aunt Yi wants more of those elixirs, he could start buying them from Tang family, so he don't have to get Jia Yu to get it for him anymore. Xian asks if he is really planning to do something like making elixirs, and he replies, why does he cannot? She replies, there is not a single man that is good at making elixir in this country, but if it's him, it be possible, so she is looking forward to it. Hearing which, Chu Qing thinks that this world is really hostile to men. Suddenly, Xian wipes out food from her cheeks and eats it while blushing. Chu Qing also blushes and asks her, what is she doing? And she replies, aren't men supposed to be embarrassed at times like this? She then grabs him and tells him to stop training martial arts, and she is saying it seriously. If it's for self-defense, she could protect her instead, and he also doesn't look good today, which she assumes is the side effects of training. As such, she hands him over the medicine from her family, which he can use for healing. She gets close to him, and says that if she sees him training again, they will be through, as she does not want her future husband to be not able, hearing which, Chu Qing gets scared thinking that cultivating martial arts leads to infertility. Now fast forward it gets night, and we see Chu Qing arriving at his home, wondering if his dad noticed that he was gone last night. Suddenly, he gets dragged by his dad and gets his ass beaten while he nags at him for coming home at this time. But Chenxi arrives and tells his dad to stop it, as this was her fault, since she got drunk last night and he had to stay and take care of her. Seeing her here, Chu Qing gets surprised and thinks, why is she here, and what is she even talking about, and that she got drunk and he had to take care of her, a man and a woman in a room all alone. His dad would really imagine something bad due to it. His dad then sits down and sulks due to it, thinking that his big cabbage got taken by a pig just like that after growing it for years. Fast forward, Chu Qing asks her why did she came to see him, and she hands him over a medicine for healing. Seeing it, he remembers that it's the Tang family's healing medicine, and she gets a bit angry hearing that, and says that it looks like he no longer needs it. And she should have expected that, he is Miss Tang's boyfriend after all, he wouldn't be lacking in anything. Chu Qing replies, who said he doesn't need it, and he would be needing any presents that she would prepare. And this also reminds Chu Qing about teaching Chenxi the way to deal with Wang Chuan, and Chenxi asks if he is sure about it, as that technique is more valuable than life. But he holds her hand and replies, there is nothing to be unsure about it, and we see them sit down to learn. As Chu Qing seems to be transferring his energy, she shouts in pain. He immediately stops and holds her, asking what happened, and she replies that it's hurting, and he gives her the Tang family healing meds. Chu Qing wonders, why is it happening? Anywhere his Riki passed by, the meridian is damaged. Luckily they have Tang family's elixir. When he was healing Aunt Yi, his Riki was not passing through the meridian but the body instead. As such he tries the same thing with Chensi and asks if she is still in pain. She replies, it is quite comfortable, and Chu Qing thinks that no wonder Tang Xian said that this formula was poison. From this, he suddenly realizes something. What if irregularity of the meridian is the biggest difference between men and women in this world? As such, he decides to get his hands on an ancient martial arts book. Chensi gets on top of him and asks him to do that thing again, as it felt quite great, but he tells her to get up right now, or he will kick her out. Suddenly, his dad comes and shouts, that didn't they said they were studying, how did they get to bed while studying? Chu Qing tells him that it's not what he thinks, and Chensi starts running away as well, saying that she was feeling sick so she lied on his bed, and takes her leave, saying that she will see them next time. Chu Qing tells his dad that there is nothing between them, so he would go ahead and sleep. Inside the room, he thinks that he can deal with a regular meridian later, but what's important right now is crafting the sheath, as he brings out the bronze pot. We switch scenes to the place of incident, and see someone investigating Chu Qing's blood while saying that it's interesting, as someone got hit by Wang Chuan but only left a few blood traces on the scene. And the way that person killed don't seem to be an ancient martial arts, but a more natural way, which gets her wondering if it could be a man. Her assistant then asks her, what was that? She replies, it's nothing. She suspects the killer didn't leave Jin men. As such, she orders her to check on all major hospitals, then trace the healing med from black market and send someone to investigate the auction on the night of the murder. Her assistant accepts the order and asks if she is going to Jin men. She replies, she will, as her family has arranged a fiancé for her there. He is the son of the 6th daughter of the Chu family, and she heard that he is quite the catch, so she would be checking him out. Back at home, Chu Qing sneezes, wondering if someone is talking behind his back about him. We see Chu Qing start to work on his sheath for his sword, as the bronze pot starts to morph into a sheath. He then opens his eyes and says that he finally have his scabbard, and now any damage that his sword will sustain won't last, and it will also return to its original form. He puts the sword in his sheath and also forms a mask from it. As the messenger saw his face, so he had to deal with her, but now that he have this mask, he won't have to worry about being seen. And after all this, he wonders, what is so special about this Zhongjiang, that so many people were fighting over it? Suddenly, his phone buzzes, and he gets a text from Chensi, calling him Little Qing Kong, and he was such a tease last night that she forgot to talk business with her. As such, her mom told her to call him for dinner tonight, and they will be serving him their restaurant's secret dishes. Fast forward, we see Chu Qing having dinner at the Yu family's restaurant along with Chensi and her mom. Aunt Yi asks Chu Qing if the cultivation boosting elixir that he showed them ready, as there has been a lot of activity in the Li family lately, so if he has any request he can just say so. He replies, he is still waiting on the herbs, and he would be done latest by next week. She replies, it's fine, and asks him to name his price. He tells her that he doesn't need any money, instead, he wants to take a look at the Yi family's cultivation techniques. Suddenly, the mood shifts and Chu Qing wonders if he said anything wrong. She gets a bit angry and refuses, saying that the book was passed down generation to generation and it's worth more than their lives, an outsider can never have it. Chu Qing is quite surprised knowing that these techniques are so important to them. She sighs and tells him that a young Qing boy like him training for ancient martial arts won't end well. As such, she advises him to quit now. It gets him thinking again, that why is it a problem when men train for it? Chensi steps in and asks her mom, if Chu Qing becomes one of them, then he can read the book, isn't it? And her mom replies, he can, but only after he marries into the Yi family. Chu Qing replies that he will never marry into any family, he will only wed someone into his, and Aunt Yi replies that it's the law since ancient times for men to marry into the woman's family and the Yi family will not tolerate this. There is nothing to discuss further. Hearing this conversation saddens Chensi to a great deal. Chu Qing wonders why is it so wrong for men training for ancient arts, as everyone is being so vague about it. He thinks to ask Vai Yu about it, and also take his 2 million from him while he is there. Now at Zhai Yu's house, he asks Chu Qing where did he get that kind of money, and asks if he sold those rocks in secret. He should have let him in on it as well. Chu Qing tells him to mind his own business, and that he needs to get a book on ancient martial arts cultivation. Can he get it for him? Zhai Yu asks if he is joking, as it's not something that he can easily get his hands on, and why is he even interested in it, as he started cultivation already? He replies that his technique have some issues, so he was thinking to change his style, and Zhai Yu laughs, saying that men would be in trouble for cultivating, and now he is telling him that he wants to change his style. Chu Qing asks him, what is with men cultivating, and why is it so strange to do so? and Jia Yu replies, it's not that they cannot cultivate, but seems like he has not heard of this saying. To start cultivating, he must first be castrated, hearing which greatly shocks Chu Qing. Chu Qing thinks that if he wants to practice it then, his elephant has to go, and wonders if the old martial arts really that dangerous to men. Jia Yu tells him that the old martial arts aren't something a man can do. To achieve the highest level, they need to be castrated. Didn't he know that? And knowing that both Tang Ziyan and Aunt Yu was right, he feels like a jerk by how he acted. Jia Yu winks at him, saying since he is his friend, if he really wants to practice and go far in them, he can help him getting in contact with a hospital to schedule his castration super fast. Chu Qing tells him to shut up, and he doesn't need to worry about his business, and now he wants a bundle of old techniques, and asks, where can he get them? Jia Yu replies that he has it all, he can imagine it here, but nothing like that, and he doesn't think that he can buy it anywhere either. Even with the Jinmen family, no one can sell it. He doesn't know how strict they are. They rather destroy their own houses than make the technique known to others. It makes Chu Qing thinking that it would be complicated to practice old martial arts here, and he didn't expected those women will monopolize them that much, and assumes they are afraid that if men's learn that, they will lose their powers. Suddenly his phone buzzes, and he gets a text from Huahua that the medicinal ingredients are here. Fast forward, and we see Chu Qing making and refining pills. He thinks that fabricating pills is way too hard, but with this mask, he is able to make that process much easier. But with this, he is finally able to refine the pills, and we see it's called Quan Yi Dan, which increases the user's power by 30%. We see Huahua is watching from behind the door, and Chu Qing tells her to come in already as he is done with it. She asks him, what was he doing, and he replies, he was making pills. She is a bit surprised knowing that and says, that isn't it a thing that only a alchemist family like Tang family can do? Chu Qing asks if she thinks that he is lying. She replies, if he is finished with it then would he be heading home now? Chu Qing grabs her waist and pulls her towards himself and gives her a deep kiss. He then asks her if she wants him to go home or stay, and she blushes and replies, of course, she would like him to stay. Chu Qing thinks that Huahua is a girl that most appears to be a normal woman from his world, but now he is shocked, because her reaction while talking wasn't shy. He then picks her up and throws her on the bed, and also gets on top of her too. She tells Chu Qing that they cannot do it today, as she is on her period, and that he is still underaged. If he makes her pregnant, it wouldn't be nice for her and him, and she is afraid rumors will be spread around, hearing which Chu Qing thinks, isn't that something a man should say to a woman? He gets close to her and asks, what does she mean? Does she think that he is not responsible enough for it? Fast forward to next day in the morning, Chu Qing is completely drained, as he didn't sleep at all last night. Suddenly, Yi Mao comes and calls Chu Qing, saying that his sister told him to bring him to her. Chu Qing asks if he knows what does his sister wants from him. Yi Mao says that he doesn't know, but asks if he is going to be his brother-in-law, and Chu Qing replies, does that bother his sister, or if he likes Tang Ziyan, and Yi Mao replies that the girl he likes is Dao Yuniao, though he tells her to not tell that to anyone. Chu Qing feels dumb hearing that he likes girls without brains, like Yuniao. He tells her that he will help getting him with Yuniao, but he needs to promise him that he is going to stop talking in that shameful way. Yi Mao replies that men aren't like that, and isn't he shy, which makes Chu Qing remember that in this world, men are the feminine one. Yi Mao asks him, would he really be able to get with Yuniao if he helps him, and Chu Qing replies, if he does everything like he says, he promised that she would even want to date him, while thinking that if she doesn't want that, he will force and threaten her. We then see Chenxi is standing, waiting for Chu Qing outside her car. Chu Qing asks her why did she came to see him, and she offers him a drink, asking if he is thirsty. Receiving milk tea like that confuses him a bit, and Yi Mao tells Chenxi that she is so cruel for not getting him a drink as well, and she replies there isn't any for him, and tells Chu Qing to drink it fast or it will go bad. Chu Qing wonders what happened to her, and if she got mad because of what happened yesterday, and she tells him that she waited in line for a long time to buy this, so he should finish it. And right after drinking, he starts to get dizzy, and realizes that Chenxi has sedated him once again, and he starts to fall down, while calling himself really stupid for falling for it again. Chenxi quickly puts him in the car, and Yi Mao is shocked seeing all this. Chenxi turns towards him and tells him that from now on, he doesn't have to take part in this game anymore, and he should call an Uber and go home.